Chapter 71. Eve 4. Time passed. Before I knew it, the appointed day I had agreed upon with Co. Ran approached, and I half-opened my eyes. Who? As I exhale, the spiritual cloud of the earth-surpassing path rises from my dantian. A yellow-brown cloud covers the surroundings at the same time. SSS? A jet-black cloud mixes with the yellow-brown, creating a dual-colored cloud swirling around me, black and yellow clouds. The black cloud is the manifestation of the water and yin energy of the water surpassing path to cultivation. Huff. Inhaling again, both clouds are drawn back into my nose and mouth. Water surpassing path to cultivation. Kai refining 14th star infinite spiritual cloud achieved. Since I had already opened all spiritual meridians with the earth surpassing path, there was no need to open additional meridians. I just needed to accumulate spiritual energy. Additionally, having insight into each stage through understanding before breakthrough, I only needed to consider the differences of the 5 elements and slowly open them. Of course, that too took a very long time. It seemed to be unavoidable due to my constitution. At this rate, I won't be able to master all 5 elemental methods in this lifetime. It seems it might even take the next life. Woo-um. I open my eyes and summon a gang sphere from my inner core. The gang sphere splits into 5 and circles around me. Finally, 5 gang spheres. Although I had long ago learned to handle 5 gang spheres, stabilizing all 5 is a recent achievement. I wonder if I can handle 9 gang spheres like Kim Hyung in this lifetime, grasping the clue to the next gang sphere and delving into it, barely forming a new gang sphere. Stabilizing the newly formed gang sphere. By repeating this process over and over, I finally reached 5 gang spheres. But for Kim Young-hoon, it took at most a year, sometimes just months, to form 1 or 2 gang spheres. He went through all the processes I did and stabilized the gang spheres in that time. I'm still at this slow pace. I'm far from catching up to Kim Young-hoon. He struggled a lot and said ultimate pinnacle is the end of martial arts, the limit of humanity. But if it's him, he will surely pioneer a new realm. What comes after ultimate pinnacle? I am very curious about it too. But I have no idea how long it will take me to reach that realm. Even reaching the limit of ultimate pinnacle with 9 gang spheres felt like a distant wall. Kim Hyung. I believe you will go further. I can't catch up to Kim Young-hoon, so I just wish him well for the future. I write a letter to Kim Young-hoon using a spell and then start heading to the Black Wind Sea to meet Co. Ran. Whoosh, the waters of the Black Wind Sea are calmer and clearer than ever. Especially as I approach Co. Ran's abode, the sea becomes even more tranquil and serene, giving a clear feeling. At the same time, I am astounded by the dense spiritual energy emanating from Co. Ran's abode. Such power. It feels like enough power to shatter an entire island. If this is the power accumulated over 10 years in the late Kai building stage. Splash! I dive into the water and swim towards Co. Ran's abode. Thanks to mastering the water-surpassing path, moving through water felt much easier. I soon see a golden aura blooming below. Golden energy envelops Co. Ran's entire cave beautiful. It looks almost divine, leaving me speechless for a moment. Without the water-surpassing path, I would have likely drowned. I enter Co. Ran's abode. Splash, entering his chamber, I am greeted by a world of golden light. At the center of that radiance, there is Co. Ran's bell with Co. Ran infusing energy into it. Flash, noticing my entrance, Co. Ran stopped infusing energy and swallows the bell. The golden light immediately disappears. Have you arrived? Yes, Co. Hyung, that power is truly immense. Immense indeed. Co. Ran says with a self-mocking smile. We might be able to drive away trivial spirits, but we'll have to fight inside the nether crossing ship, the stronghold of that being. Against a core formation-level ghost, no matter how much power we accumulate in the Dharma treasure, there's nothing we can do but temporarily immobilize it. Co. Ran speaks with determination etched on his face. But I must obtain what lies within. Don't worry, though. I have a technique that allows at least one of us to escape. Co. Hyung, what are you talking about? If we decide to do this together, we should leave together as well. CO Ran looks at me with a complex expression. His intent is too convoluted to read. It seems he's feeling complicated. But why is he showing such subtle emotions to me? If his emotions are clear, I might understand his intentions. Well, whether it's goodwill or something else, thinking of repaying the Dragon King's favor, I decide to stay with him to the end. Right. You're correct. If we're together, we should leave together. CO Ran agrees with a small nod and heads for the entrance of his cave. Let's go then. Like before, CO Ran and I headed towards the Black Ghost Valley where the barrier is located. Unlike before, I didn't ride on his neck but cast a water element spell to float and move quickly over the water. You've even mastered a water element method in the meantime. You're incredibly talented. Haha, no, I've just devoted a lot of time to it. Whoosh. Soon we enter the stormy sea area, and from afar we can discern the location of the barrier through the distortion of spiritual energy. Now, ride on my neck again. Yes. Whoosh, as I cling to his neck, CO Ran soars again, passing through the barrier. Once more, a misty sea fog surrounds us. The familiar sounds of the scattered ghosts reach our ears. This time, CO Ran exerts his power from the start. Flash, golden light begins to shine from within him. The Dharma treasure he stored inside him emits a weak but penetrating force. Flash, no, I know that light. I know that light. The ghosts scream and flee in all directions, and a massive path opens in the direction we are heading. Whoosh, we completely break through the second barrier. Once again, we enter the area where the Nether Crossing ship is located. It's the same as before. The Nether Crossing ship looks exactly the same as when we left last time. Still, a sinister, black-colored, broken-down ship. CO Ran and I cautiously approach the ship. There is no reaction. There is still no response from the Nether Crossing ship as we climb on board. It's quiet. CO Ran speaks without relaxing his guard. Ghosts often fall into a deep sleep to conserve their energy, clinging to their grudges, ghostly energy, or certain objects instead of going to the underworld. Perhaps the soul fragment of that heavenly being ghost has fallen asleep. We hesitate for a moment, then enter the interior of the Nether Crossing ship. The interior is still dark and massive. There's still no response. We'll have to hope there's no response even as we go down to that level again. CO Ran brings a slight current with him that lifts his body, allowing him to swim as if gliding inside the Nether Crossing ship. Thanks to this, his footsteps make no sound at all. Using a walking technique, I completely silence my footsteps and follow him. Since we had already investigated the upper levels of the ship last time, today we only needed to go down to the lower levels. We quietly head to the lower levels of the Nether Crossing ship, the level we had entered last time. The ghostly energy is still surging as it had been before. After exchanging glances, we enter the lower level of the Nether Crossing ship. We communicate silently with gestures and started moving. That's when it happened. Whoosh, a gust of ghostly wind blows, completely sealing the exit of the level we had descended to with ghostly energy. I've been awake since you set foot on the Nether Crossing ship. I'm currently enduring the pull of the underworld by relying on the ship's ghostly and yin energy. If anything happens to the ship, I can tell immediately. The voice laced with ghostly energy echoes from all directions. I knew you would come back, you fools. And you, the bastard child, I pondered why you came to the Nether Crossing ship, and eventually I found the reason. Tinkle far away, the sound of a bell rang. Tinkle, tinkle. In the darkness, a single bell, rusted red, floated and rang in the air. Whoosh, at the same time, next to the bell, a volume of jade slips appears. Jade slips are special jade books that can only be read by the consciousness of cultivators. The deeper and stronger the consciousness, the faster one can read and access the information in the jade slips. CO Ran's eyes waver at the sight of the jade slips and the bell. The jade slips have the energy that CO Ran had once told me to remember. I personally found what you were looking for and prepared it for you. Aren't you grateful? When I read the jade slips, they contained a story so sad it couldn't be read without tears. Ha ha ha. Crack. Then a ghost hand extends from where the voice is coming and shatters the jade slips. The fragments of the jade slips roll on the ground. Now, what will you do? Your reason for coming here is gone. Ha ha ha. Show me your despair. What do you think? Co Ran's aura changes color. His aura flares up with intense anger. Co Hyung, stay calm. This being is trying to provoke you after sensing the energy of the Dharma treasure you brought. Even though it's a ghost, it too has consciousness with color. I read its color and understood its intents. It seems to mock and toy with Co Ran while radiating immense wariness towards him. As I pinpoint its emotions, two blazing red eyes and flaming ghostly fire appear in the darkness. Have you, like that demon, learned a special technique to analyze consciousness? I don't respond, just gather my spiritual power and internal energy. All right, I understand. Co Ran grits his teeth, suppressing his anger. Thank you, actually, for finding what I am looking for in advance. As he opens his mouth, a golden bell, identical in shape to the rusted one, springs from within him. If I just get rid of you, I can immediately obtain what I desire. Flash, golden light spreads in all directions. Simultaneously, the lower level of the nether-crossing ship, hidden by ghostly energy and darkness, becomes brightly illuminated, revealing the interior of the ship. The vast space inside the ship, compressed by spatial magic, becomes visible. Around the ship, shattered ghostly statues and spatial rifts were seen, and remnants of what might have been mechanical puppets lay scattered here and there. In the center of the space, on a throne made of jet-black stone, sat a white skull, cloaked in a dark robe. Red ghostly fire flows from the eye sockets of the skull, and the rest of the body seems to be made entirely of ghostly energy, flickering in and out. How dare a mere half-breed unleash the ghost-controlling bell within the sacred artifact of the Azure Ghost Valley? Even inner disciples would face severe punishment, sentenced to labor in the execution grounds of the Ghost Valley Mountain for a month for such an act. And a half-breed dares to do this. The core formation-level ghost from the Black Ghost Valley starts to stir up ghostly energy, displeased by the golden bell. Already smashed to pieces by that madman, and you call this derelict ship a sacred artifact. It's laughable. Co Ran's words seem to trigger the ghost, as ghostly energy begins to whirl violently around it. Do not dare speak of that madman's deed in my presence. Whoosh! The interior of the ship, which had been brightened by the golden light, darkens again as the ghostly energy swirls. I will kill you. The ghostly energy surge, attempting to suppress the light of the golden bell. Co Ran focuses on the bell without showing any tension. Don't worry. I've accumulated power for 10 years. A mere remnant soul like this, barely clinging to life by borrowing the power of the broken nether-crossing ship to avoid being dragged into the underworld, is nothing to fear. Whoosh! The golden bell emits an even more intense golden light, directing it towards the ghost spirit. You think you, mere Kai-building bugs, can handle the Dharma treasure of core formation. The ghostly energy seems to push away the golden wave momentarily, but Co Ran chuck ghostlicles. Don't bluff, you old ghost. The ghost-controlling bell was made by your own Black Ghost Valley, specifically to suppress spirits. A Dharma treasure made by you would be the most effective against ghosts. Egg. Blinded by the explosive light from the bell, the ghost spirit couldn't open its eyes. Now's the time. It's weakened by the Dharma treasure. Let's attack. Co Ran and I split in opposite directions and begin our respective attacks. Whoosh! As Co Ran opens his mouth, a blue breath bursts forth. Boom! The blue light flashes and the ghost spirit groans loudly. Crackle, crackle. The golden bell floating in the air gradually moves above the ghost spirit. It looks like a golden sun moving towards its zenith at noon. Flash! The golden bell hovers above the ghost, shining even brighter and starting to tremble. Tinkle, the sound of the bell seems to further weaken the ghost spirit. It's as if a golden barrier is restraining and sapping its strength. We can win this if we keep pushing. Co Ran was about to gather energy in his mouth again when, you, vermin, whoosh. As the light from the bell hits the ghost directly, the ghost spirit starts to rise. You find it amusing. That with this body I cannot touch the ghost-controlling bell, zap, zap. You dare to challenge me with core formation power with your petty tricks. while using its strength to withstand being dragged into the underworld and countering the opposing energy of the Dharma treasure. The ghost conjures up black, ghostly clouds, spreading and dyeing the surroundings dark. Give up on your futile dreams. Boom. Black ghost claws burst from the clouds, sweeping towards Co Ran and me. We narrowly dodge the claws, so fast. Due to their lack of physical form, the claws move with frightening speed. Bang, boom, black ghostly energy swirls around. Wriggle, wriggle. Black tentacles flow out of the dark clouds. Gang Kai. Or rather, it must be something like pure spiritual force. Thousands of them extend, forming ghost hands, and begin to attack us. Accelerate 6 times. Everything around me slows as my movements speed up. I kick through the air, dodging all the ghost hands. Is it time to attack? Whoosh, 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 boom. I spin 3 times in the air, unleashing a sword gang that collides with one of the ghost hands. It's tingling. My sword gang significantly weakened the ghost hand, but didn't penetrate it. Co Hyung, prepare for a powerful strike. I form a hand seal and begin to cast spells. Dual-colored spiritual clouds burst forth, and several spells form within them. I detach a gang sphere from within me, then cover it with Gang Kai, connecting it with the sphere. I can't divide the gang sphere further. The ghost hands, and especially the claws, are just too fast. Co Ran, with his tough scales, survived several hits, but I would undoubtedly be split in 2 if hit once. Using Severing Mountain Swordsmanship, 23rd move, Endless Mountains Beyond Mountains, I adopt the Transcending Peaks stance, and with the Gang Kai further connected to the gang sphere, swing. Kuaang, the ghost hands that collide with the gang sphere shatter. 21st move, Severing Mountain, whoosh. The gang sphere grazes the ground, slicing through the ghost hands and the dark clouds inside. I lock eyes with the ghost spirit, forming spells in the center of the dark cloud. Crack. As the ghost opens its skull's mouth, a large, red, skull-shaped spell flies towards me. I return to the Transcending Peak stance, gather the emitted energy, and switch to an extreme low position using Entering Mountain. Whoosh. My Gang Kai extends below the skull, targeting the ghost. HMPH. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The ghostly energy condenses in the air, forming dark tombstones that fall and block my Gang Kai. You dare challenge me with such child's play? Whoosh. The ghost completes its spell, and thousands of ashen skulls rise around it. Each skull has the power of a gang sphere. Screech. Ghostly wails echo as the ashen skulls fly towards me. A direct hit would be fatal. Stay calm. I can keep using Endless Mountains Beyond Mountains as long as my body endures. With the gang sphere and Gang Kai connected, the connected gang sphere can withstand multiple collisions without energy loss. I must not face more than 2 skulls at the same time. I have to smash them one by one. Thousands of skulls, each one as strong as a gang sphere. Moreover, the ghost spirit is forming another set of hand seals in the back. It looks like he's preparing to cast another powerful spell. I'll have to smash all the skulls one by one before he completes his spell. It's just that simple. 3 skulls in front, 16 above, and 22 below opens their mouths. While maintaining Endless Mountains Beyond Mountains, I use Record of Transcending Cultivation and Exhausting Martial Arts to momentarily cut off perception and disappear in front of the skulls. In the momentary gap when the skulls hesitate, I destroy 3 skulls in front and 1 each above and below using the techniques of Ascending Vein, Entering Mountain, Cliff Edge, Dragon Vein, and Flowing Ridge. My inner core is helping the flow. With the aid of my inner core, the strain of maintaining Endless Mountains Beyond Mountains is not as burdensome as before. I think I can last much longer. The sword moves of Transcending Peaks, Joy of Mountains and Peaks, and Mountain and Valley Transformation naturally flow together, striking each skull one by one. Although it looks like dozens of sword gang are swirling, in reality, I am shattering each skull in the world of an instant. Transcending Peaks, Mountain and Valley Transformation, Mountain echoes, Valley responds. Flowing Ridge, Entering Mountain, Cliff Edge, Ascending Vein, Dragon Vein, 72 lights emerging, Peak. Dozens of moves naturally connect, forming a single flow. This flow contains tremendous power. 21st move, Heavenly Lake. Like a lake containing the heaves in its waters, my gang sphere encompasses this massive flow. Power many times greater than that of a single gang sphere converges. Originally, the ultimate move of Severing Mountain swordsmanship, Severing Mountain, creates massive energy to store in the sword and concentrates the power to a single point to use a powerful technique beyond its usual strength. However, having reached ultimate pinnacle, I learned to reverse the flow of Severing Mountain. Instead of concentrating on one point, I scatter the accumulated power in all directions. Severing Mountain swordsmanship, ultimate move, Severing Mountain. The massive power stored in the gang sphere shoots out in all directions, striking the skulls directly. Hundreds of skulls shatter all at once. Ignoring their ghostly wails, I return to the stance of transcending peaks, forcibly maintaining endless mountains beyond mountains, resisting the escaping energy. The gang sphere is slightly damaged. Despite maintaining endless mountains beyond mountains, I had just shattered nearly 1,000 attacks of the same level. It's impossible for there to be no damage. I grip my gang kai and stir up my spiritual power. Clouds of yellow and black gather around me. The dual-colored clouds begin to spin around me. Simultaneously, spells of earth and water shoot out from within the clouds at an astonishing speed. Each is significantly weaker than a skull, but by shooting dozens of spells per skull, they dampen their momentum, and I shatter the weakened skulls with my gang sphere. I repeat this process on several more skulls. The ghost spirit watches Seo Yunhyan, who is raging like a thundering beast forming hand seals. It's foolish. I don't know how a Kai refining cultivator can use an attack of the Kai building level, but even Kai building cultivators cannot stand against me. Yet he dares to buy time in front of me. The ghost spirit already completed the next series of spells. Seo Yunhyan is still dealing with the skulls he had released before. His gaze shifts to Seo Ran, who is gathering energy at the corner of his mouth. Although the breath of the sea dragon tribe is fearsome, to hurt a core formation ghost like me, you'll need to gather much more energy. The ghost spirit completes a new set of hand seals. Dark ghostly energy converges, spewing out a swarm of ghostly insects. The insects, screaming ghostly, fly towards Seo Ran. They resemble a black cloud charging towards him. That's when it happened. Wait a moment. The ghost spirit's gaze turns to Seo Yunhyan. Was he always that fast? Seo Yunhyan, who had been shattering the skulls at a speed comparable to the flying escape technique of a core formation cultivator, began to move even faster. What? And then, Kwang, there is a flash of light, and the skulls around Seo Yunhyan all shatter. The ghost spirit failed to properly perceive and missed the scene. I'm resisting the pull of the netherworld and resisting the ghost controlling bell, but to miss that with my consciousness. In an instant, Seo Yunhyan's figure disappears and appears again in front of Seo Ran, who is facing the swarm of ghostly insects. Each individual insect is much weaker than the skulls he had just resisted, but there are 100 times more of them. Each insect could match a spell unleashed with pure spiritual force. Surely he would be torn apart and killed by the swarm of insects. However, Quang, 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 Seo Yunhyan emits sword gang from one hand and begins to dance with it. His sword gang collides with the insects and annihilates them. Ha ha ha, no matter how fast you are, you can't possibly. Then, dual-colored clouds begin to spin around Seo Yunhyan. Clouds of black and yellow. From within the clouds, thousands of basic spells shoot out in all directions. The basic spells are slightly weaker than the insects, but manage to weaken them significantly. And Seo Yunhyan's sword gang sweeps past the weakened insects. He continuously shatters one insect after another. At some point, Seo Yunhyan's movements become even faster, transforming into a storm of light. This is madness. The ghost spirit drops its jaw in disbelief as it watches Seo Yunhyan. He has completely wiped out the swarm of thousands of ghostly insects. You, monster-like creature. Now I see that you are stronger than the half-dragon. How could you, a mere Kai refining bug, do such a thing? What kind of monster are you? What kind of monster, I ask? The ghost spirit roars, and Seo Yun-hyun, returning to his original stance, looks at it calmly with a faint smile on his lips. Wung around him, orbs of light, gang spheres, begin to emerge. There are 6 spheres. Indeed, a warrior grows by transcending the boundary of life and death. Poof. At the same time, endless mountains beyond mountains that Seo Yun-hyun is maintaining is released, and due to the rebound, blood gushes from his eyes, nose, and mouth. Thud! I exhausted all the spiritual power in my danchan and the internal energy in my inner core. I feel like I could die at any moment. Gasping for breath, I move the 6 gang spheres I have successfully split. Flash, 6 attacks fly, but the ghost spirit waves his hand and my gang spheres collapse. At best, they are strikes at the level of a Kai-building cultivator. They wouldn't significantly harm him, but, Seo Hyung, I've bought you some time. If it's not a human attack but a dragon's attack, it might be different. Seo Ran's eyes sparkle as he gathers blue energy at the corner of his mouth. Seo Ran opens his jaws. A flash of blue shoots out. Translator notes, extra chapter coming soon. Chapter 72. Eve 5. A blue flash engulfs the interior of the battleship. For a moment, even the golden radiance emanating from the Dharma treasure is overshadowed by Seo Ran's breath. All around, everything is steeped in a blue light. A terrifying explosion resonates, scattering clouds of dust. With my dwindling spiritual power, I protect my ears and assess the situation. And then, I am able to see the blood-red domain of consciousness. He hasn't fallen yet. As the dust cloud clears, the state of the ghost spirit becomes visible to the naked eye. Heh, 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 heh. The ghost spirit's long robe is completely tattered, and its fluctuating ghostly form is more unstable than ever. Above all, there are numerous small cracks on its skull. Heh. Haha, that attack was quite thrilling. Huck. Each time the ghost spirit opens its jaw, a clump of black ghostly energy bursts forth. Seo Ran got him good. He's not unharmed. Slowly and cautiously, I gather my spiritual power and internal energy, healing my body. Although not unscathed, he could launch an attack at any moment. That's when it happened. Q-Q-Q-Q. From the eye sockets of the ghost's skull, thick black ghostly energy pours out, staining the surroundings. Though I had the upper hand in elemental affinity, I underestimated you, mere Kai-building novices. Now I too shall stake my life, which is limited by time. Oh no, Seo Ran's expression contorts. Hurry up, that old ghost has given up resisting the underworld. What? Until now, it's been dispersing its ghostly and yin energy in resistance to the underworld. But now it's gathering all of it to fight. If it's given up resisting the underworld, doesn't it mean it will pass on if we just endure? Normally, that would be the case for an ordinary ghost. But this old ghost will resist with its consciousness and try to kill us. After quickly killing us, it can redirect its energy to resist the underworld and avoid death. Q-Q-Q-Q, a massive ghostly creature emerges from the dark abyss. You fools! Will not take? Damn. It's gotten stronger. This is the core formation level, a living natural disaster. None you? Take the sect's treasure. Somehow more mentally unstable than before, the ghost spirit speaks in broken sentences, reaching out its hand, swoosh. A ghost claw extends from the hand of the ghost spirit. Damn, I roll away with all my strength, swish, the ghost claw passes by the place I just vacated with terrifying speed. You cannot take. Ugh. I force myself up, barely managing to stand, drawing on my internal energy. The ghostly monster's hands sprout another set of ghost claws. Mad Lord. You can't take anything from sect. Confused in mind by using its ghostly transformation, it shouts at us, calling us the Mad Lord. As long I hear, you can't anything? Pew quang. Ugh, I almost died. I barely evade, accelerating my thoughts and pulling out the gang sphere. The ghost spirit lashes out with its claws in all directions, wildly rampaging. I had to retreat outside its consciousness domain, reading its intent to narrowly dodge its attacks. What about CO Ran? CO Ran, not as fast as me, is hit several times by the ghost claws and is covered in blood. The speed and power of the ghost claws have increased since before. Each hit causes CO Ran's scales to be ripped off, spilling blood. CO Hyung, I dodge the claws and approach him. Let's escape. We can't win. It's not possible. If we leave now, there's no telling what the old ghost will do with what I'm seeking. If only I can readjust the jade pieces. Damn it! Is that more important than your life? CO Ran looks confused for a moment, then closes his eyes tightly. Yes. It's important. I read his intent. His current emotions are too complex to fully understand, but it seems true that it is more important to him than his life. Understood. Then I'll go under the old ghost to collect those things. Then we escape. What can you do it? I have to make it possible. I concentrate my energy and focus my consciousness. I simultaneously heighten my perception of intent and the sensory acuity of the demon race. At the same time, I wring out my inner core, accelerating my thoughts to the extreme. If I'm hit even once, I'll die. The power of those ghost claws surpasses even the gang's sphere. Don't even think about blocking them head-on. Just focus on dodging and getting close enough to pick those things up. Cover me. After shouting to CO Ran, I step forward, enveloped in extreme concentration. The tension is akin to when I used the record of transcending cultivation and exhausting martial arts in the domain of the core formation three-tailed demon fox. A single mistake means death. Death. Though I have been liberated from death, I fear it just as much. To die once means to sever all ties created and seen in this life. A single death is no different from real death, even if you cheat time and open your eyes again. Such a regained life must inevitably differ from the previous one. The people I would meet again wouldn't be the ones I knew. I execute Mountain Lord's soaring flight. Combining Mountain Lord martial arts and transcending peaks, step into a single body movement technique. The overall flow of Mountain Lord's soaring flight resembles a tiger, moving lightly and nimbly like a great tiger leaping over mountains. Dodging a hunter's arrow like a tiger, I dodge the ghost claws and gradually approach. The remaining distance to the bell and jade pieces CO Ran wants is about 20 zhang. It's definitely possible. The ghost spirit, seemingly out of its mind, is indiscriminately hurling ghost claws, rendering the record of transcending cultivation and exhausting martial arts useless. However, it's easier to read the flow of intent. I see it. The flow of intent, the flow of yin and yang. It is all visible to my eyes. Accelerating my thoughts, I evade the ghost spirit's attacks. I moved 5 zhang, 15 zhang to go. As I approach the ghost spirit, the aura of the ghost claws, even without touching me, seem to slice through my body. I am clearly dodging, yet still getting cut. It's not deep. I can endure it. Of course, enduring doesn't mean it's easy. Stepping into a storm and not getting hit by a single raindrop would be easier than this. I need to be faster. The deeper I go, the more frequently the ghost claws scatter. Wuosh wind gathers around me. My consciousness transforms into the form of a dragon, lightening my body, summoning wind, dragon transformation. Bang! My inner core vibrates as if it would shatter, but I squeeze out more internal energy and quicken my pace. Like a dragon and tiger, I dodge the ghost claws, closing another 10 zhang. Only 5 zhang left. About 15 steps, 3 ghost claws swoosh towards me. Inside the ghost spirit's consciousness domain, I can't read intent. I can only predict by reading the yin and yang flow with the demon senses. Swoosh. I hastily duck and ghost claws pass over my back. I dodge 3 ghost claws and move 3 steps forward. 12 steps to go, 8 ghost claws wildly lash out. I twist my body to dodge 3, duck to avoid another 3. But the 2 crisscrossing ghost claws are hard to dodge. That's when it happened. Boom! A blue flash burst forth, shattering the ghost claws. It's CO Ran's support. Outside the ghost spirit's domain, CO Ran is bleeding while exuding complicated intent. On his forepaw is an unfamiliar dark-colored bead. It seems to be a separate Dharma treasure he had brought. However, Co Ran's intent looks darkened overall while holding the dark bead. What's his state of mind? No, focus. Trust Co Ran, he'll back me up. I walk 7 steps. Only 5 steps left. Until now, it was hard to interfere because of the ghost claws. But at this distance, whoosh. I project my intent, manipulating the jade pieces and bells with the principle of sword control, making them float up. Swoosh. The bells and jade pieces fly into my arms. I've got them. Now, just to get out. As I refocus on returning by using Mountain Lord's soaring flight, something happens. Wobble, my legs give way. What, my inner core is completely drained. I am out of internal energy. As the energy forcibly moving my muscles disappear, my body stops responding. A ghost claw quickly approached. I thought it was my 9th return. Swoosh, blood splatters before my eyes. A huge shadow shields me. It's Co Ran. Thank you. He looks at the jade pieces and bell in my arms and smirks. But I urgently shout, hurry, dodge. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. However, several ghost claws strike Co Ran again. Blood begins to flow profusely from his entire body. It's a fatal wound. Just then, a warm energy begins to flow into my dantian. My inner core, accustomed to the energy of the demon race through summoning wind, dragon transformation, begins to absorb Co Ran's energy voraciously. Co Hyung, what are you doing? Hurry. According to fate, feed on my blood and unleash your power. Ghost controlling bell. Boom. Red energy begins to emanate from Co Ran's body and is absorbed by the golden bell that is suppressing the ghost spirit's strength. Golden chains burst forth from the golden bell, restraining the ghost spirit. The ghost spirit in agony screams and can no longer wield its ghost claws, struggling in vain. Wait, what are you doing? Co Hyung, your life is draining away, I know. But Co Ran continues to transfer his energy to the bell. Stop it right now. If I stop, the old ghost will go berserk and we'll both die. Boom, blue light begins to emanate from Co Ran's body. Simultaneously, the blue-enshrouded Co Ran begins to shrink. What? Co Ran transforms into a young man with blue hair, somewhat resembling Co Hweol. His skin is dotted with scales and a tail protrudes from his buttocks. He wore a tattered blue robe, his complexion dangerously pale. That form is? Originally, members of the demon race cannot transform into human form before reaching the nascent soul stage. So this is my true form. Your true form? Co Ran smiles faintly. A prince of the great sea dragons and a disciple of the Black Ghost Valley fell in love and had a child. The child was treated as a bastard among the sea dragons and as a stain born from the filth of the demon race in the Black Ghost Valley, becoming a target for bullying and discrimination. Co Hyung, stop the nonsense and let's get out of here. My strength has returned somewhat, so I can carry you. No, I know my wounds. I was destined to die from the wounds I received long ago. He shakes his head. Even if you carry me, I'll just be a burden. Even in my demi-human form, my weight is no different from my sea dragon form. Just escape on your own. What nonsense are you talking about? Didn't we agree to leave together? Co Ran smiles bitterly and speaks. Anyway, our king, despite my origin, accepted me as his descendant. I was grateful to him and considered him like my own father. Co Ran, I approach him, intending to drag him away. The energy Co Ran had shared with me is bubbling inside my inner core. Suddenly, freeze, what's going on? My body wouldn't move. However, maybe because I've been observing others since birth. I naturally observed the king's intentions. Observing him, I came to understand his true nature. Yun Hyun, the king of our tribe, the ancestor, is incredibly devious. The real name of summoning wind, dragon transformation he gave you is summoning wind, coagulating core transformation. The deeper you cultivate, the more your dantian or demon core turns into a medicinal elixir beneficial for the cultivation and recovery of the sea dragon tribe, turning the cultivator into a slave bound to obey the sea dragon tribe's commands, a type of devilish art. Shocked by this unimaginable truth, I feel as if I had been struck hard on the head. The method Co Hweol gave me? I couldn't sense any devilish energy. I speak blankly, still in shock. Ha, not all devilish arts must accumulate devilish energy. Any power built on sacrifice is a devilish art. You were in the process of sacrificing yourself to become a palatable elixir for us. How could that not be a devilish art? He looks into the void with a bitter expression. Our sea dragon tribe, generations ago, began to cultivate techniques that involved sacrificing others under the king's lead. We bred numerous races as livestock, teaching them techniques similar to summoning wind, coagulating core transformation, and consuming their danchin as medicinal elixirs for our cultivation. One day, the Mad Lord raided our breeding grounds, destroying them and turning 3 of the royal family managing the grounds into living puppets. Chaos ensued, and many of the livestock escaped. From what I know of history, among the remaining human cultivator clans not yet ascended, the Mackley clan is likely the descendants of the livestock bred by the sea dragon race. I am stunned by the truth of history. The Mackley clan, known for capturing and consuming mortals like livestock, turned out to be the descendants of the livestock bred by the sea dragon tribe. I heard that they managed to escape the influence of our sea dragon tribe by transforming the stolen techniques into real devilish arts, but I'm not sure if it's true. Anyway, the sea dragon tribe once enhanced the overall strength of our kind by creating such elixirs under the king's leadership. C.O. Ran continues with a bitter smile. The king probably sent you to me, thinking that the elixir made from the same demi-human would be of great benefit to me. Even now, if I consume your demon core, I could heal most of my wounds and survive this place. Why are you telling me this? I pondered over this many times, but seeing you follow my request without hesitation to retrieve my mother's keepsake, I realized my folly. You are my friend. Who in the world would sacrifice their friend just to save themselves? C.O. Ran smiles at me. I'm sorry. I lied to you, saying there was something inside that would aid my cultivation, and I never showed you my true form. I, including the king, have continuously deceived you. Don't forgive me for confessing the truth only when facing death. I always thought the Sea Dragon King was a good person because he always had a smiling face. The king always maintains a dignified, smiling face, but he wears dozens of thick masks, always contemplating how to use even insects. You also earnestly taught me the method, so I thought you were a good person. I'm sorry. You are not a good person. I smile at him. You are not just a good person, you are truly my friend. I knew C.O. Ran had his own schemes. It was impossible not to know, with all the complex intent he continuously exuded. But in the end, he chose our friendship over his schemes. Then I must respond to this loyalty with loyalty. How can I, as a friend, do nothing when there's a way to save my friend? Creak, creak. I begin to break free from C.O. Ran's control, reaching towards my dantian. Death is frightening and painful, but my life is many, while C.O. Ran's life is just one. If I can sacrifice one of my lives to save a friend who has confided everything in me, it's definitely worth it. C.O. Ran forms a hand seal. No, crack. The energy C.O. Ran gave me spreads throughout my body, completely controlling my movements. Do you think I would be happy if I survived that way? I knew I was meant to die here. He took out a small bead. It's the dark bead he had been gazing at earlier. The king ordered me to find my mother's keepsake and completely destroy the nether-crossing ship using this Dharma treasure. It was supposed to counteract all the spatial techniques of the ship and destroy it, releasing the countless ghost souls trapped inside, including those of our sea dragon tribe. But as I prepared to activate the treasure today, I realized it would certainly kill me. The king probably wanted to get rid of me, a blemish of the tribe, with this opportunity. Tears stream down C.O. Ran's face, yet he continues to smile. Only now do I truly understand how cruel and cunning you are, C.O.H. we all. Yun Hyun, I will die along with my mother's keepsake, so please you must live. C.O. Hyung, must you really carry out C.O.H. we all's mission? I've lived clinging to the king's mercy all this time. Now that I know even that mercy was a facade, I no longer wish to live. Boom. He throws a blue bead into my arms, using a technique to force it inside. It's hardly a reward, but here's the key to the secret vault in my quarters. Everything in my quarters is now yours, Co Hyung. Farewell, my friend. As he finishes speaking, my body involuntarily activates summoning wind, dragon transformation. Wind envelops me, and I am forcibly lifted outside. Co Ran manipulated Yoon Hyun's summoning wind, coagulating core transformation to forcibly expel him while feeling his vitality escape. The ghost-controlling bell is draining his vitality, and he is bleeding profusely from the ghost claw's fatal wounds. Grandfather Co Hweol, I won't become like you. He had followed Co Hweol. Even when he knew that Co Hweol, his distant ancestor and king of the Sea Dragon tribe, stirred discord among many races with his cunning strategies and cruel acts. When Co Ran's talents didn't meet Co Hweol's standards, he was decisively left behind without hesitation. Even so, when Co Hweol told him about his mother's keepsake and the mission to completely destroy the Nether Crossing ship and free the souls of the Sea Dragon warriors trapped within, Co Ran followed and respected him. But now, he realized the truth regarding Co Hweol. Co Hweol is either heartless or a being whose heart had been long destroyed. Rather than living by devouring my friend, I choose to die here. Perhaps you, Co Hweol, even calculated this outcome. Memories of Co Hweol's attitudes and his many heinous acts done behind a gentle mask haunt Co Ran. I was neither of the Sea Dragon tribe nor human. He had no one. Co Ran slowly pieces together the jade pieces that surely belonged to his mother. Click, click. Simultaneously, he begins to activate the breaking space pearl. As I'm going to die anyway, I'll complete your mission as my last act of respect for you. The dark bead starts to tremble and shine. Co Ran's life force is fading, but at the last moment. Co Ran successfully reassembles the jade pieces and begins to read them. Wooum. The breaking space pearl radiates shining light. The ghost-controlling bell, which has been consuming Co Ran's life force and holding the ghost spirit at bay, loses its power, and dark ghost claws target Co Ran. In his final moments, Co Ran reads the jade pieces, tears streaming down his face. So it is. As space collapses, numerous black storms envelop Co Ran. His father had died immediately after his birth, and he had been separated from his mother all his life. The only one who had ever treated him with a smile was Co Hweol. But today, he realized even Co Hweol was not his family. His life had been manipulated from beginning to end. Yet, reading the jade pieces, Co Ran cries and smiles. I had a family after all. With a burst of white brilliance, Co Ran endlessly reads the contents of the jade pieces as he perishes. Mother, father, Co Ran. I cry out for Co Ran, flying back towards the Nether Crossing ship, but in an instant, light explodes from the ship and numerous spatial storms erupt. A tremendous light scatters, spreading the accumulated ghostly and yin energy in all directions. At the same time, the sources of that energy, the countless souls stored by the Black Ghost Valley, begin to ascend into the sky. Freedom, freedom? We're leaving this cursed ship. This time we're really heading to the afterlife. Numerous souls ascend to the heavens and disappear. I clench my teeth, tears streaming down my face. The Nether Crossing ship completely collapsed. Today my friend has died. Was Co Ran our MC's first native friend. Also, turns out Co Hweol is actually a hypocrite. Chapter 73. Eve 6. Boom, a black miasma of yin energy surge, and the compressed space within the Nether Crossing ship bursts open. Rumble. I retreat as far as possible to avoid being swept away. The inner decks of the Nether Crossing ship expand endlessly, shattering the barriers. The sea fog barrier is destroyed, and the illusionary barrier shatters. Countless ghosts trapped in the sea fog barrier ascend into the sky, and the mass of yin energy that had accumulated begins to dissipate. As the source of the yin energy vanishes, the nearby dark clouds and storms start to disappear as if melting away. Swoosh! Waves cover the debris. I watch the debris, equivalent to the size of the mountain range where the golden divine heavenly thunder sect once stood, and silently mourn for my friend. Co. Ran's body was nowhere to be found, likely swept away by the spatial storm. For days I searched for his remains, but to no avail. Eventually, I held a small ritual to honor his spirit, and then headed to his abode. Swoosh! Gliding over the water, my thoughts were heavy with not only Co. Ran's death, but also the truths he had revealed. Have I, in my ignorance, handed over 2 comrades to a dragon who bred humans like livestock for elixirs? Co. outwardly, seemed incapable of such acts. He didn't have a bad reputation like the Mad Lord, and was known for his dignified demeanor. I thought he was the second most likable person after Sir Changho and entrusted my colleagues to him. But it turned out to be the worst decision. Damn! Had I, with my own hands, committed the most dreadful sin, I clench my teeth, lost in complicated thoughts. In my ignorance, I handed my colleagues over to the worst being possible. I can't afford to be ignorant anymore. I must gather as much information as possible. With that resolve, I head to Co. Ran's underwater cave. Upon reaching his place, the blue bead Co. Ran gave me a mitted light, revealing hidden cave entrances. I cautiously enter the hidden entrances. There are 3 in total. One was Co. Ran's living space, likely used when he was in his demi-human form, with a sturdy bed and human-level living facilities. Another is a space filled with numerous materials, bones and skins of demon beasts, unique woods and stones. The last is a library. Inside are numerous, extensive volumes of demon beast methods and books, real techniques of the sea dragon race, not slave or livestock methods like the summoning wind, coagulating core transformation I had learned. I carefully examined the demon beast methods, sending a silent thanks to Co. Ran. Thank you, Co. Ran. I take out the demon beast method books, not only those but also other books which I began to read. Co. Ran, being a demi-human hybrid, had a collection covering not only Yangyuo, Byokra, and Shengzi, but also other human nations. I pick out the most worn books and read them. Among them are demon beast methods, histories of the sea dragon tribe, and books about human nations. Culture of Yangyuo, I read one book, and then another. Culture of Shengzi's mountainous region culture involves festivals held once a year. The types of festivals include the centuries-old Great Stone Ceremony, Recounting Celebration Ceremony, and Twin Immortals Dance. I move on to the next book. Culture of Byokra, bordering the desert, is known for its glass crafts, and there's even a culture of offering glass crafts to the deceased. There are also books about the culture of the upper realms. Life of the Upper Realm people. This book, especially, seem to have been read by Co. Ran with great interest. Before marrying in the upper realms, couples share 2 cups of wine with each other. Among the wines of the upper realms are Moryong wine, Jairyong elixir, Twin Immortals wine, and White Red wine, a symbolic wine for couples made from white lotus and red pear flowers. I read on about the various aspects of the upper realms culture. In a particularly worn page, I read, in the upper realms, families wear purple ribbons during family gatherings. Family. This section is particularly well thumbed, as if the reader had lingered on it often. Co. Ran's image of reading the book came to mind. He might have been reading books here for years. I imagine him wandering around the library. The books about the sea dragon tribe are also heavily worn by his hands. Especially, the records about the mixed blood of the sea dragon tribe and the human race are immensely worn. Right behind that record, there is a sentence that seemed to have been written by Co. Ran. Typical mixed blood possesses the advantages of both the human race and the demon race, but I have such strong demon blood that I can't even utilize the human advantages. I'm not entirely wild as a demon. Maybe that's why other members of the sea dragon tribe dislike me. Still, the king patted my head, saying there must be something I can do for the sea dragon tribe. I will remain loyal to the king and grandfather Co. It seems the reason Co. Ran couldn't pass through the barrier of the Nether crossing ship was because of his stronger demon blood. While reading the Pledge of Loyalty to Co. I couldn't bear to read more of Co. Ran's records and closed the book. I hope you find peace in the afterlife. Co Hyung. I gather the demon beast methods from his quarters and head to Yongyuo. I was powerless and weak, unable to do anything. But I will use this as a foundation to reach a new future. Kim Young-hoon, based on the demon beast methods, would be able to reduce many trials and errors again. In the next life, I'll do everything possible to prevent Co Ran from dying. This is... Kim Young-hoon read the demon beast methods I brought, his eyes nearly rolling back in excitement. Thank you. This will reduce a lot of trial and error. That's good to hear. Kim Young-hoon's face brightens as he reads through the pile of methods I brought. With this, I wonder if Kim Hyung will be able to see beyond the ultimate pinnacle in this life. He happily looks through the methods, organizing the many martial arts he had practiced using only summoning wind, dragon transformation. I told Kim Young-hoon that I will practice cultivation and said I would be at the Shattered Heaven Peak in the Great Mountains of Shengzi, then headed there. I've mastered both the earth and water surpassing paths. Now I should fully master the fire, metal, and wood surpassing paths to cultivation. I thought that if I familiarized myself with the other element methods, I could learn them even faster in the next life. But when I arrived near Shattered Heaven Peak, there's a barrier. I stop and examine the barrier. After a while, some figures emerge from within the barrier. Damn, now that I think about it. Since the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect is gone, it wouldn't be strange if the noble clans of Shengzi have taken over where the sect used to be. I feel a headache coming on and look around. Shattered Heaven Peak isn't just a single peak. Most of the mountainous area where the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect was located is called Shattered Heaven Peak, and among the many peaks, there are places not occupied by noble clans because the dragon veins are weak. Good, I'll practice there. I went to a small, inconspicuous peak with moderate dragon veins, sat in a lotus position, and began to practice. This time, I planned to master the fire-surpassing path. Years passed. After many years, I finally mastered the fire-surpassing path to cultivation. Cuckoo, cuckoo, three-colored clouds swirl in my dantian. My recovery power has increased to an amazing level. It's an unbelievable level of recovery. Even if my cultivation falls to 12th star due to attempting Kai building, I can recover in a day or two. But I have only about 10 years left to live. It's futile to try mastering all 5 elemental methods. 4 would be my limit, but I won't give up, based on the time of this life. Using the connections of this life as fertilizer, I can sprout new life. No, I must sprout it. Cuckoo. I once again attempt Kai building. Again, my spiritual star breaks and my cultivation falls. But the 3-colored spiritual power in my dantian begins to recover. In a day or two, it will all be restored. Honestly, with this level of recovery power, I feel that even with just my Kai refining skills, I could compete with those who had just entered the early stages of Kai building. Cuckoo, cuckoo, I observe the swirling spiritual power in my dantian and begin to recover my cultivation. 2 days later, I fully recover to 14th star Kai refining and immediately start practicing the metal surpassing path. There is no time to waste. I have to elevate my realm as quickly as possible. Chaak, a white metal spiritual power spreads around me. My lifespan is almost over. I have just reached the 9th star in the metal surpassing path, and within my dantian, 4 colors of spiritual power are swirling. Yellow earth energy, black water energy, red fire energy, and white metal energy. Among the 3-colored clouds, the white energy swirls only a bit, but even that slight change lets me feel an increase and decrease in recovery power and time. Now, even if I fall in cultivation due to attempting Kai building, I can raise all the elements of the fully mastered spiritual power back to 14th star in half a day. If I fully master the metal surpassing path, perhaps I could restore all my spiritual power in just an hour or two. There isn't much time left. That's when it happened. Pa! The transmission bead I had given to Kim Young-hoon lit up brightly. I'm currently in Shengzi. Let's meet in the capital city of Jingju outside the Great Mountains. The bead turns off after that message, but I immediately get up and head outside the great mountains. That voice, it sounded resolute. What could it be? Kim Young-hoon was waiting for me at the entrance of Jingju City in Shengzi. You're here. Kim Hyung. First, let's talk somewhere secluded. Yes, if you wish. I follow Kim Young-hoon to a secluded valley deep within the great mountains. What brings you here? He had been busy researching demon beast methods and hadn't contacted me even once. I am happy to see him, but his complexion seems a bit off today. I know that face too well. The face I had seen on many others, and the color of their intent, is the face of someone nearing death. Kim Hyung. Yoon Hyun. Kim Young-hoon smiles bitterly. How long do I have left to live? What? Maybe 10 years, maybe 20 more years, but I'm just a mortal, not a cultivator. I can't live long. He draws a saber from his waist. Even with the demon beast methods you gave me, I had to go through many trials and errors. Through those trials, though time-consuming, I have succeeded in finding the real path. Something beyond simply transforming human consciousness into human form. But it's too late. Drip, drip. Tears fall from Kim Young-hoon's eyes. If I knew there was such a realm from the start and focused precisely on it through numerous hardships. Now, just 10 or 20 years is too little time to reach it. Even I need time. Kim Hyung. Kim Young-hoon's lifespan is a bit longer than mine, but even he has a limit due to being a mortal. I'm confident I can reach it, but I don't have enough time. He grits his teeth and raises his head. I dreamt of mastering martial arts to return to my family, but it seems like a vain dream now. But as much as that, I've decided to see the completion of this martial art with my own eyes before I die, even if I can't return to my family. There is a strange madness in his eyes. Yoon Hyun, I came here today to die. I will burn my life, all my talent, even if just for a moment I can reach the next realm before I die. He takes out a book from his bosom. Unlike the record of surpassing path and martial arts filled with his trials, this book is thin. There is no title on the book yet. Is everyone leaving me? Co Ran and now Kim Young-hoon. I close and open my eyes with a heavy heart. I can't stop him. All I can do is watch and pass it on in the next life. Whisk, he throws the book to me and I catch it. What is this called? Record of transcending cultivation and martial arts. Record of gazing cultivation and exceeding martial arts. Record of surpassing cultivation and martial arts. And the record of surpassing path and martial arts. A new history of martial arts built up by the determination and blood of numerous Kim Young-hoons. What does this record contain? Kim Young-hoon smiles. Somehow his smile feels laced with bitterness. It's not a record. Yes. Martial. It's a martial philosophy. Keek. Kim Young-hoon takes his stance with his saber in hand. But I've poured my entire being, breaking down the old and forging it anew into. His aura begins to change. 9 gang spheres appear around Kim Young-hoon, and I open my eyes wide. Let's call it the Beyond the Path to Heaven martial arts. The next moment, a bright golden light, too intense to keep my eyes open, illuminates the surroundings. Kim Young-hoon, burning his life to leap towards the next realm, begins his ascent. Translator notes, IT gonna be epic early chapter today as I won't have time to upload later. Enjoy. Chapter 74. Eve 7. It's difficult to open my eyes. No, it isn't simply that I can't open my eyes. Just as staring directly at the sun hurts the eyes, facing the excessively abundant flow of intent causes a throbbing pain in my upper dantian. It's painful not just for my eyes, but also for my vision of intent and demon senses. What kind of enlightenment is this? Yet, I endure the pain and manage to gaze directly at Kim Young-hoon. He is dancing amidst golden waves. The martial essence of the severing vein saber method unfurls from the tip of Kim Young-hoon's blade. From the 1st to the 17th moves of the severing vein saber method, a martial art born from Kim Young-hoon's longing to cross mountains and return home. However, the 16th and 17th moves of the severing vein saber method shares the same enlightenment with the 23rd and 24th moves of the severing mountain swordsmanship. The 23rd move of severing mountain swordsmanship, the 16th move of severing vein saber method, endless mountains beyond mountains. And the 24th move of severing mountain swordsmanship, the 17th move of severing vein saber method. Foolish old man moves mountains. Just as there are endless mountains beyond mountains, no matter how many hardships and adversities life may bring, if one is as persistent as the foolish old man, believing in their martial path, they will surely be able to push aside all mountains in their way. This is the ultimate secret technique of both the severing mountain swordsmanship and severing vein saber method, following endless mountains beyond mountains. It encapsulates the will of the previous cycle's Kim Young-hoon's life. However, Kim Young-hoon has never been the foolish old man. The term foolish old man refers to a foolish and slow-witted person, an ill-fitting term for a martial genius like him. Yet, perhaps the previous Kim Young-hoon, having tasted despair in front of cultivators, wanted to say this. Even a genius cannot advance further without becoming the foolish old man. And so, Kim Young-hoon became the foolish old man, no matter how unreachable the path seems, even if Mount Tai stands in his way. After inheriting and passing down, he finally succeeds in breaking through the mountain. Whoosh, whoosh, from Kim Young-hoon's upper dantian, Gang Kai rises, beginning to burn his dantian. That is, with my eyes trained in both cultivation and martial arts, I see its flow, the secret technique of the Jin clan. The technique previously used on my disciples, inserting the resentful souls of their relatives into their upper dantians to forcibly awaken their talents. Kim Young-hoon had reinterpreted the Jin clan's secret technique in terms of martial arts, creating something new. Instead of using the souls of others, he burns his upper dantian with his own Gang Kai, elevating his martial talent beyond its limits. Starting from his upper dantian, Kim Young-hoon's upper body begins to burn with Gang Kai. Despite the pain, he does not stop this martial technique. Akin to the last light before sunset, burning the brightest, he is burning himself. It's painful to even watch. But I can't miss this scene. Changes begin to occur in Kim Young-hoon's martial arts. Woo-oom in the world of intent. Around the burning, Kim Young-hoon stands 9 versions of himself. 9 gang spheres start to change, emitting brilliance. The gang spheres begin to dissolve, not into the air, but into Kim Young-hoon's domain of consciousness. One by one, the 9 gang spheres merge, and the golden luminosity emanating from Kim Young-hoon grows intense. Then, suddenly, FZZT merely watching, the sharpness of the energy starts to slice through my body. Simultaneously, Kim Young-hoon's domain of consciousness begins to materialize, merging with the gang spheres. Kim Young-hoon's consciousness domain turns into pure golden brilliance. I have reached it, KRRR. The materialized domain of consciousness momentarily thins out like a line. I will. The golden line merges into Kim Young-hoon's saber. Beyond the heavens. Burning with Gang Kai, Kim Young-hoon swings his golden-lit saber towards the sky. In an instant, his saber surpasses even the rays of light and reaches the heavens. Flash, brilliant light streaks across the sky, splitting the clouds in half as it passes. Ah! I felt something flowing down my cheek, coming from my eyes. When I wipe it with my hand, it's red. Tears of blood, perhaps, shed in the face of such beautiful yet incomprehensible enlightenment. Whoosh. There, Kim Young-hoon, having swung his saber towards the heavens, died standing in that very pose. Even as he burned with Gang Kai, it was as if he had finally reached his destination, as if he had at last arrived where he wished. He is smiling. Plunk, thud, whoosh. Gang Kai escapes from Kim Young-hoon's body, and he disintegrates, swept away by his own energy. He becomes a cluster of light, flying off to the heavens, to the place he so longed to reach. I will not forget you. I bow in the direction where Kim Young-hoon had been. This is a tribute to a grandmaster who had once again transcended the limits of martial arts. Maybe because I had just witnessed an enlightenment beyond the ultimate pinnacle around me. 6 gang spheres emerge and split into 7 as they rotate. Only 2 more left. With just 2 more, I will meet the qualifications to challenge the realm beyond the ultimate pinnacle, proven by Kim Young-hoon. I examine the book of the Beyond the Path to Heaven martial arts, left behind by Kim Young-hoon. It seems graspable, yet elusive. Perhaps when I reach the extremes of the ultimate pinnacle, I can grasp it through this book. To that place, I will surely reach it. Maybe because of Kim Young-hoon's saber light that had torn the sky, I see people from various cultivator clans approaching from afar. I use the earth-surpassing path to escape underground, mulling over Kim Young-hoon's final moments. My time of death approaches, and with a smile I exhale my last breath. Hoo! Yellow, black, red, and white clouds appear and circle around me. The earth-surpassing path, water-surpassing path, fire-surpassing path, and metal-surpassing path. Before dying, I successfully mastered these 4 paths. But it seems I will die without mastering the wood-surpassing path, the method of the wood element. I had deliberately left the wood element method for last because it reminds me of my master. I'm not sure if I am good enough soil for a tree to deeply root. My life is nearing its end. All 7 gang spheres had been stabilized after encapsulating the Enlightenment. In my next life, with just 10 years of dedicated practice, I can reach the extremes of the ultimate pinnacle. 7 gang spheres, and the 4 elemental methods, all nearly complete, save for 1 or 2 of each. Have I become good enough soil for a tree to grow now? What will the next life hold? I know nothing. I laugh at myself, absorbing the clouds swirling around me, the sacrifice of Co Ran, the disintegration of Kim Young-hoon, and my own cultivation, all to lay the groundwork for the next journey. This entire life was nourishment for the next, so tranquil. I contemplate the swirling clouds of 4 colors in my dantian, like the calm before the storm. Yes, this life was just like the calm before the storm. In the next life, I will become the storm that sweeps away everything, because I cannot dishonor those who have nourished me in this life. Thump, thump. My life is fading. Krrrrrrr. I once again challenge the Kai building stage. The 4 clouds whirl and compress. Simultaneously, a spiritual energy star, shining in 4 colors, begins to form at the center. How many times have I attempted Kai building? I lost count. There had been too many attempts. Krrrr. Boom. The spiritual energy star, on the verge of collapsing, is continuously sustained by the 4 clouds. But the changes are too much. 4 attributes are not enough. Again and again, I knock on the threshold of Kai building, but thump. My heart begins to falter. It has begun. I send Gang Kai to my heart, forcefully pumping to resist the end of my life. Thump, thump, thump. It's painful. But since it has come to this, I'll see it through to the end. Knowing he couldn't transcend his limits in the time he had left, Kim Young-hoon burned himself up. Even a genius set himself ablaze. How could a dullard like me hesitate at the brink of death? Krrrrrrrrrr. Energy escapes from my inner core. It then transforms into Gang Kai within my body, starting to burn. F-whoosh, F-whoosh, eleg. Without the spiritual energy star to control the Gang Kai, and still in Kai refining rather than Kai building, my body can't withstand the Gang Kai and is entirely consumed by flames. But simultaneously, the Gang Kai incessantly stimulates my heart, surging up from the inner core in my lower dantian, reaching and igniting the upper dantian. Kim Young-hoon's martial technique. Being at the ultimate pinnacle and the extreme of Kai refining myself, I am able to observe and replicate that technique. I burn my upper dantian with Gang Kai, elevating my limited talents to their utmost, and even beyond. Kung, Kung, Kung. I knock on the wall of Kai, building time and time again. Simultaneously, I conjure Gang spheres around me, focusing my consciousness to grasp the sensation of the 8th Gang sphere. A life spent sending others away. Disciples, masters, friends. I will not lose them again, using this failure as nourishment. Kurung, Kurorung. Dark clouds begin to gather in the sky. I laugh mockingly as I burn within the Gang Kai. Has it arrived? Ironically, I am now finding the ominous dark clouds somewhat familiar. As if mocking a lowly creature for daring to escape the lifespan dictated by the heavens, the clouds laden with lightning completely cover the sky. I activated the vision of intent and demon senses. Along with the lightning predicting eye, I discovered at the golden divine heavenly thunder sect, a technique to concentrate on celestial energy and predict the location of lightning strikes. Well, it's not much of a technique, just a knack. It just focuses the sense of celestial energy gained from the 7 stars ritual slightly on the lightning. Yet, observing the lightning-laden clouds, I still think this technique is pointless. If someone is skilled enough to predict lightning, they can just block or withstand it. Conversely, if a weakling can predict but not stop lightning, they won't be able to escape it either. How can one dodge something that strikes at the speed of light? Engulfed in Gang Kai, I look up at the sky calmly. Boom, boom. The spiritual energy star lasts longer than ever before, a result of mastering the 4 surpassing paths. This strengthens my hope that mastering all 5 elements will lead to Kai building. And then, boom, the spiritual energy star explodes, failing to endure. Simultaneously, blue lightning crashes from the sky. Lightning from the heavens strikes a man born of the earth. Engulfed in Gang Kai, I am struck by the lightning. And in that moment of being struck, with 7 rotating gang spheres around me, at the moment of death, when the energy of the heavens descend to the earth, I seem to understand the principle of gang spheres. One divides into heaven, earth, and man, just as a person isn't formed alone. Perhaps the heavens, earth, and humans aren't formed alone either. Heaven, earth, and man, each is influenced by the other's aspects. Then, perhaps the heavens are influenced by the earth, man, and themselves, containing another cycle of heaven, earth, and man. Similarly, the earth is influenced by the heavens, man, and itself, containing another cycle within. Humans, too, might have a cycle of heaven, earth, and man within them. Ah, Kim Young-hoon attained the enlightenment of gang spheres through the principle of endless circulation. Humans are influenced by those who gave birth to them, those they live with, and those they give birth to, endlessly circulating within. Perhaps the principles of the world also circulate, influencing each other. Burning within the blue lightning, I attain enlightenment in that fleeting moment. The heavens punishing humans who surpass their lifespan is, in the end, to minimize the influence that man has on the heavens. Just as Kim Young-hoon influences me, just as Seo Ran influences me, just as I influence them, we all influence each other, a cycle within heaven, earth, and man. The 3 talents divide again into another set of 3 talents. The number of gang spheres increases. 7, 8, and then 9. In that enlightenment, even as I turn to ash within the blue lightning, I see the 7 gang spheres increase to 9 and close my eyes. That was my 9th return. Translator notes, 8th cycle over? Man, Kim Young-hoon pioneering a new realm was just epic. What do y'all think is gonna happen in the next cycle? Will Seo Yoon-hyun finally reach the Kai building stage? Will he manage to reach the new realm of martial arts? So exciting. Chapter 75, 9th cycle's first day. Flash, I open my eyes again to the sensation I'm feeling, a new cycle. At the same time, I feel an enormous pain, GRR. Without even a moment to properly reflect on my past life, my head began to swell. First, I form a water spell and use a sleeping spell to put the people around me back to sleep. Damn, this is dangerous. I try to use the hidden consciousness technique to suppress the size of my consciousness, but the pain only intensifies. The technique isn't for eliminating consciousness, but rather for compressing it within the upper dantian, making the upper dantian endure even more stress. Kai refining 14th star. I even reached the pinnacle of Kai refining by mastering 4 elemental methods. Although not much, my consciousness is certainly larger than in my past life, and it feels like my head is going to explode at any moment. I need to get to spiritual plants quickly. Foam forms in my mouth, trembling. I almost crawl to where the yellow bamboo roots are. Drip, drip. Blood begins to flow from my eyes, nose, and mouth. My upper dantian is swelling. I must do something. Gritting my teeth, I perform acupoints sealing all over my body. The acupoints I learned to amplify the body's internal energy during my medical studies. Boom. The internal energy inside my body surges suddenly. I start to infuse my consciousness into the internal energy, pushing it outward. Whoosh! As my consciousness splits, a gang sphere is formed. This slightly reduces the mental strain. Even though I've amplified the internal energy in my body to create a gang sphere, it won't last long because there's too little internal energy. My consciousness will return soon, so I must find yellow bamboo roots quickly. I hurriedly run to where a yellow bamboo root is, suppressing my throbbing head. I dig up the earth and put the herb directly into my mouth. Crunch, crunch. The yellow bamboo roots, soil and all, enter my mouth, but I quickly chew and swallow, guiding its energy to my dantian. Boom, boom. The internal energy in my body makes a complete cycle. I try to undergo rejuvenation right away. Boom, boom, crack, crack, crack. My entire body starts evolving according to the 5 energies converging to the origin, achieving perfect harmony in the upper, middle, and lower dantians. The swelling in the upper dantian is soon relieved by harmonizing with the middle and lower dantians. Phew! I finally let out a sigh of relief. I almost died from my head exploding. I absorbed the gang sphere I had previously created back into my body and reform my inner core. The inner core takes its place and helps regulate the flow of internal energy throughout my body. I feel completely relaxed. I continue to eat more yellow bamboo roots around me to fill my inner core completely and stabilize the overflowing internal energy. I really need to find a way to handle this consciousness. Even at the level of Kai refining, such incidents are happening. If I advance to Kai building, each cycle might start with my head exploding. It would be an endless cycle of explosions. Shivering, I shake my head. I really need to find a solution. I became deeply aware of the consciousness issue and finally have time to think about what I gained from my past life. At the end, I realized the essence of ultimate pinnacle. Whoosh! A gang sphere emerges from the inner core. 1 becomes 3. The gang sphere splits into 3. If the 3 influence each other and circulate, focusing on that circulation, everything in the world influences each other. Each of the 3 gang spheres project onto the others. Flash! The 3 gang spheres split into 3 again. Ah! I smile faintly. 7 of the 9 are stable, but the 2 newly acquired ones are still a bit unstable. Stabilization is a matter of familiarity, and it's a problem that can be solved in a few years of training. In other words, I have truly reached the extreme of ultimate pinnacle. Flash. I open and close my eyes, entering the world of intent. Around me stands 9 versions of myself. Come in. Flash, the 9 versions of me overlap with me again. I feel the speed of my thoughts accelerate tremendously. 10 times acceleration. Instantly, the world slows down, bang. I kick off the air and jump up. Unlike the time of 5 energies converging to the origin, I don't need to sense the flow of air or energy to step on the optimal spot. Anywhere I step feels slow, and I can hop around easily. It feels like I am truly soaring through the sky. Good. I float in the slowed-down world, organizing my thoughts high up in the sky, the path beyond the heavens martial arts that Kim Young-hoon left behind. I feel I am close to grasping the essence of that martial art. The realm beyond ultimate pinnacle involves integrating gang spheres with consciousness, materializing it. But the how of this integration, even when I recall the path beyond the heavens martial arts, remains elusive. It isn't a matter of being a genius or a dullard, experienced or not. It is simply that the martial art is too subjective to Kim Young-hoon. Too much of Kim Young-hoon's subjectivity. Perhaps I should ask him after pulling him up to the ultimate pinnacle. After all, in this life, I have to fully develop the 5 surpassing paths to cultivation, so I could wait for him to reach the ultimate pinnacle. Okay. Then for the path beyond the heavens martial arts, I'll remove Kim Young-hoon's personal touch and pass it on to him again without making it too obvious. As I float in the air with these thoughts, zap! In the realm of intent, a strand of hostile intent reaches out to me. I follow the thread of intent. Below in the forest, a white massive figure is staring right at me. Shiver, a fox. Almost instinctively, I cover myself with protective gang kai, and in the next moment, the fox appears before me, spinning in the air and slamming its tail down. Boom. The sound of air breaking resounds, and I am slammed deep into the ground. You, who dares invade my territory? Don't you know I am the master of this forest? How dare you enter without my permission? What are you talking about? I naturally reply in the language of the demon race, which I had learned from C.O. Ran, and the fox's eyes narrow. Speaking the demon race's language, you must be a demon as well. To enter my territory uninvited as a fellow demon beast, you must be ready to die, damn it. Lord of the Forest, this is all a misunderstanding. I was just caught in a spatial rift in the ascension path and fell here. Oh, what a convenient excuse. But how do you explain that the space around here, except for the center of the ascension path, is stable? Are you saying you entered my territory uninvited despite detecting my presence? Is it recognizing me as a demon? It seems different for a demon like me to invade its territory compared to a mere human snack. Please understand that as a fellow demon, I was not aware of the traces of the forest's owner. Carrying a spirit nature close to the peak of Kai building in your demon core, and you dare to mock me with such lies. The fox begins to shine brilliantly as it treads the air. Die, intruder! Flash. The demon fox, now a blazing white light, plummets towards me. Damn it. What a mess. I grit my teeth and dodge the fox's attack, starting to move away from where my companions are. I don't want them to be dragged into the fight with the fox, especially since they are still mere mortals. Whoosh. The fox spreads its domain of consciousness. Even from a distance, its massive field of consciousness is palpable. The fox begins to gather strength. Flash, at the same time, the fox's field of consciousness condenses, taking on the same form as the fox. The overlapping of the consciousness and the fox causes it to blaze even brighter. Flash, it seems to turn into white light itself. The fox accelerates tenfold and rapidly approaches and strikes down with its front paw. So fast. I hastily dodge the paw and leap over a small hill. But in the next moment, flash, boom, a white light explodes and the small hill is obliterated. Beyond that, white luminescent figures in the shape of the fox fly towards me. The power to obliterate a small mountain and still target its opponent, a core formation fox. I can't face it head on. I continue to dodge and flee from the fox's attacks. Flash! The fox transforms into a streak of white light again, chasing after me. Wait for the right moment, the air explodes as the fox reaches me. Its mouth opens wide. I take a stance and shoot a gang sphere from my inner core. Although my acceleration rate drops, I don't care and swing the gang sphere connected to gang Kai. Clang. Boom. Light explodes and the fox is momentarily pushed back. But I frown. Only a slight mark is left. The fox isn't significantly harmed. A surprise attack with a gang sphere could injure an unprepared human core formation cultivator. But it's ineffective against a core formation demon fox, especially one charged with energy and boosted to the max. Engulfed in rage, the core formation demon fox, overwhelmed by my sword gang attack, grows even more infuriated. It gathers more energy and roars. You, I will kill you. With a burst of white brilliance, several clones of the fox, resembling itself, appear around it. These massive clones turn into beams of light. With a loud bang, the rivers and lakes in Ascension Path explode, and mountains and hills crumble. The sound of the explosions echo everywhere. I flee frantically towards the edge of Ascension Path, dodging the fox's relentless attacks. Damn, it's more resilient than a human cultivator and is prepared against my gang sphere. There's nothing I can do. At least my speed, enhanced beyond the Kai refining stage, allows me to dodge the core formation demon fox's attacks. Nothing works except for speed. Even then, my best strategy is to flee. Occasionally, the fox almost catches me using its strange magic. I'll throw you out of Ascension Path, intruder. Wait, this is a misunderstanding. As the fox opens its mouth, a white beam shoots out, narrowly missing me. Swallowing hard, I clench my teeth. Damn that fox. Thankfully, I am now far enough away from my colleagues. Even if the fox rampages in its frenzy, they should be safe. Record of transcending cultivation and exhausting martial arts. My consciousness enters a blind spot in the fox's perception. To the fox, it must have looked like I vanished into thin air. The record of transcending cultivation and exhausting martial arts allows me to sever my consciousness and hide. The record of surpassing cultivation and martial arts details how to channel one's consciousness into sword control, creating a phantom with one's intent. These techniques, along with others in the record of surpassing path and martial arts, are invaluable regardless of one's cultivation level. Kim Hyung's martial arts are always useful, regardless of cultivation level. Whenever I think about it, I find it amazing. Intruder, show yourself or face the consequences. The fox's voice vibrates with spiritual power, searching for me in its blind spot. As long as I don't dig too deep, it won't notice. With my current strength, I can stay hidden for days using the record of transcending cultivation and exhausting martial arts, as long as I don't walk right in front of the fox. I didn't expect to be running from the fox right at the start of this life. I was too reckless, especially after reaching the peak of ultimate pinnacle. I should have just made the inner core and stayed quiet. The others should be able to last about 3 days, right? Or I could hide and return with the record of transcending cultivation and exhausting martial arts. Then, the fox begins another spell. It glows intensely, and thousands of sharp, white thorns, each as powerful as my gang shear, appear around it. These thorns cover the sky and the surrounding area, randomly plunging towards the ground. Creatures and birds, sensing the ominous flow of energy, flee in all directions. Damn that fox. If all attacks are aimed at me, just like the ghost hands and insects, I could fend them off, but this random assault is hard to avoid. The white thorns begin to fall. Amidst the chaos, I accelerate my thoughts and dodge the thorns, stepping on the void. The nearby forest is instantly devastated. Good thing I'm away from my allies. I reappear before the rampaging fox, sweating and exhausted. Even though I am far from my colleagues, I feel I need to go even further. 3 days have passed. I have been running from the fox nonstop. Despite its relentless pursuit, the core formation demon showed no signs of fatigue. You should be tired by now. Why don't you show yourself? Hidden by the record of transcending cultivation and exhausting martial arts, I catch my breath. My inner core is nearly depleted after 3 days of non-stop evasion. Damn this monster. I frown and curse the fox in my mind. The fox's intent is shimmering gold. Initially full of vigilance and anger towards me, the intruder, it seems to have figured out the record of transcending cultivation and exhausting martial arts over the past few days. Now, it looks to be toying with me, probably planning to deliver a final blow once it gets bored. But I smirk, catching my breath. It's about time. Come out now, you unidentified demon beast. If you come out now, I will overlook your rudeness for brazenly invading my territory by just tearing off your limbs. With a sly smile, I deactivate the record of transcending cultivation and exhausting martial arts and stand in front of the fox. Ah, finally given up, have you? No, watch the flow of yin and yang carefully. Isn't the celestial energy around us trembling? What is this guy talking about? The fox, who's about to growl at me, pauses and widens its eyes in shock. The celestial energy is indeed trembling chaotically. Kugu. I hadn't noticed when I was weaker, but now that I've grown stronger, it became more apparent. The celestial energy and the flow of yin and yang are quivering and warping. Without doing anything, just by emitting an aura, the mountains and rivers, the grass and trees are trembling. The fox drools and looks up at the sky. Heavenly being cultivators are approaching. Heek. The fox, trembling with fear, tries to flee, but a person clad in black robe flicks their finger. Cack. The fox's soul is sucked into the sleeve of the person in the black robe. Kururung. A golden lightning bolt strikes from the sky, incinerating the fox's body. Only the fox's bones and a radiant orb, seemingly a demon core, remain. A man in a golden robe makes a gesture, and the fox's demon core is sucked into his hand. I'm too late. Then I'll take this. Woong. A giant in blue armor opens his storage device at his waist, and the fox's bones are absorbed into it. What is this? I saw it from afar earlier. It was running away from the fox. I don't feel any spiritual energy. Perhaps it's a creature that mastered some special technique with Kai building level consciousness. But can you give me that demon core? It's Jin Bayuk Ho, White Bone Ghost Devil, and Sir Chang Ho. Jin Bayuk Ho and White Bone Ghost Devil are murmuring to each other, and Sir Chang Ho asks Jin Bayuk Ho for the demon core. You're noisy, Cultivator Chungmun. Anyway, I feel something like a demon core in that guy's danchin'. Is he a human or a demon? If it's a hybrid, some demon traits should be visible, but that's not the case. At nascent soul level, he could be a demon disguised completely as a human, but he was being chased by a core formation level fox. What is this, really? Hey, Taoist Jin. Are we really doing this? That demon core has an energy that would be perfect for one of my disciples. Ignoring me, Sir Chang Ho keeps pestering Jin Bayuk Ho, who eventually shouts in irritation. Didn't I say you're noisy? Behave like the renowned Chang Ho you are, Kwarung. Just his anger causes lightning to strike from the sky, hitting Sir Chang Ho. This guy suddenly making a scene. Quagwang, Sir Chang Ho, not one to back down, punches back at Jin Bayuk Ho, and White Bone Ghost Devil, trying to intervene, gets caught in the fight, making it a three-way battle. Kugu, the celestial energy twists wildly, seeming to bring a storm, damn it. I'm caught in the storm of the fight and thrown into the air. Wait a minute. There was that guy. As if remembering me, Sir Chang Ho stretches his hand towards me, floating in the air. Then, the celestial energy around me moves and naturally brings me before him. Let's stop the fight. What a disgrace in front of a young junior. Sir Chang Ho, with a calm face, grabs the back of my neck and laughs heartily. Soon after, White Bone Ghost Devil and Jin Bayuk Ho stopped fighting with irritated looks. You're the one who started it. What are you talking about? You suddenly lost your mind and struck me with lightning. The three seemed to be fighting but didn't show any real animosity. Were they close from the start, anyway? What are you? Are you a human or a demon? How and why did you come to the ascension path? Sir Chang Ho asks me through consciousness, and I reply in Byokra language. I'm a human with a slightly unique constitution, not a hybrid. I got caught in a spatial rift while traveling with my companions and ended up in the ascension path. Oh, you speak the language of Byokra. Indeed, you have a unique constitution. Upon closer inspection, your energy slightly differs from that of a demon core. Additionally, the spirit nature of a Kai building level demon beast seems to be settled in you, but not to the extent of a real Kai building level concentration. Yes, that's correct. A human possessing a demon core and not being a hybrid. What kind of constitution is this? As Sir Chang Ho is examining me, startled, Sir Chang Ho, Jin Bayuk Ho, and White Bone Ghost Devil simultaneously look in one direction. This energy. It's not a mistaken feeling, is it? Let's talk with you later. Let's go. Woowash. The three heavenly being cultivators take me and swiftly moves to one side. In a flash, it seemed as if there was a burst of light, and I found myself where I first woke up. There, my colleagues are being drained of blood and dying by a two-headed snake. The two-headed red snake shivers and looks up, and at that moment, lightning strikes and erases the red snake from existence. These guys. I felt that energy from them. Sir Chang Ho grabs the back of my neck and descends. Blue energy radiates from his body, seeping into my colleagues. Then my colleagues who were dying from the snake's blood draining are completely healed, their wounds disappearing. Thus, the selection process began. As before, Section Chief Jian Myung-hoon, Deputy Manager Kang Min-hee, and Chief Ohyun Siak were each seized by Jin Bayuk Ho, White Bone Ghost Devil, and Sir Chang Ho. Then I seized the opportunity and knelt before them. I can't trust Mad Lord or Coh. Of course, they could be no different. But when I read the records of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, they cherished their disciples. The soul fragment of the nascent soul left in the Black Ghost Valley's nether-crossing ship also tried to protect its sect before becoming a remnant soul. Sir Chang Ho is a man of good character. I can't let Coh and Mad Lord take the others. Seniors, please listen to what this junior has to say. I have always admired the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. I speak in the language of Shengzi to Jin Bayako. And I have respected the Azure Ghost Valley for its reputation. I say to White Bone Ghost Devil in the language of the islands of the Black Wind Sea. I referred to the Black Ghost Valley as Azure Ghost Valley, remembering how the Heavenly Beings fragment had called it. Also, the Chungmun clan, the descendants of Sir Changho, is one of the great clans that venerates the Tao of combat, as far as I know. The three Heavenly Being cultivators saw me and my colleagues possessing unique constitutions like the Heavenly Golden Thunder Body, Ghostly Yin Transformation Immortal Root, and unique Holy Body. They are my originally separated companions, and the rest here also have quite good qualities. I lack the qualifications, and I do not expect to be chosen by the seniors, but please show mercy and consider the qualities of the other two. Upon hearing my words, the three cultivators look at each other and seem to ponder for a moment. You're a polite one, so I'll forgive your forwardness. But qualifications or not, the others you call your companions have no spiritual qualities at all. Jin Bayako scoffs. Rather than testing them, it would be better to test your qualifications, the one who fled from a core formation fox. Whoosh, celestial energy moves, pulling me in front of Jin Bayako. Shortly after, under Jin Bayako's will, the celestial energy rummages through my body, and he clicks his tongue. What? You have 5-element spiritual roots. While your unique ability seems useful, your training speed is too slow. Unfortunately, you're not needed. Hearing the term 5-element spiritual roots, White Bone Ghost Devil and Sir Changho also look a bit less interested. Still, your escape from the core formation fox is impressive, so I'll give you a recommendation to join the Chungmun clan anytime. With your skills, you could even receive the position of an elder in one of my remaining branch families. White Bone Ghost Devil loses interest in me, and Sir Changho draws a blue mark on the back of my hand, making the same offer as before, but I bite my lip and kneel before them again. No, I can't let my remaining colleagues fall into the hands of Co Hweal and Mad Lord. To the noble three Heavenly Being cultivators, I want to explain the qualities possessed by my colleagues. Stop talking nonsense. Didn't I say your colleagues have no spiritual qualities whatsoever? Jin Bayako speaks with an irritated voice. However, I explain with desperation in my voice the qualities of Manager Kim Yon and Deputy Manager Oh Seo to the three cultivator. After hearing my explanation, the eyes of the three Heavenly Beings change again. Is that really true? It's not some extravagant lie. What a novel-like story. It's too fanciful, but fine. Sir Changho laughs heartily. I've met a pure-blooded human with a demon core in his dantian, and now I've met 3 people with mythical qualities. Let's believe it for now. Hey, Hio-Guak. Sir Changho gestures to White Bone Ghost Devil to start with Oh Seo and Kim Yon. The most proficient in consciousness techniques among us is you, so you go check that woman first. HMPH, ridiculous. A consciousness that covers heaven and earth. If such a thing existed, that mortal's head would have exploded long ago. White Bone Ghost Devil approaches Kim Yon with skeptical eyes, and she tries to step back, but they flick their finger, and dark shadows grab and immobilize her. Kim Yon, not seeing the black shadows, thinks her body just wouldn't move and screams. White Bone Ghost Devil place their hand on her head. Then, suddenly, ghostly energy from their fingertips enters her head. That flow it's similar to the secret techniques of the Jin clan. It seems that the Jin clan's secret techniques are influenced by the Black Ghost Valley. The next moment. Blood drips from Kim Yon's eyes, nose, and mouth. At the same time, whoosh, boom. Weak spiritual energy bursts from her upper dantian, and consciousness like threads extends in all 4 directions, covering the world. Stunned by the sight, White Bone Ghost Devil, Jin Bayako, and Sir Changho suddenly rush to her side and shake her vigorously. If you join the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, I'll give you the position of my previous disciple. The same goes for my sect. Become my disciple, and you'll have the same share as the current sect leader. Forget them. I'll feed you as much spirit-enhancing elixir as you want if you join the Heaven Creation sect. I'll even hand over the position of sect leader to you. Whoosh. As White Bone Ghost Devil manipulates the ghostly energy, Kim Yong's swelling upper dantian begins to stabilize. Yes, this should do it. Now that Kim Yong's qualities have been confirmed, they will definitely check Deputy Manager O's qualities. If so, they will not fall into the hands of Co Hweol and Mad Lord. The Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder Sect, Black Ghost Valley, and Heaven Creation Sect. They are sects that at least take care of their own, not cunning and ruthless like Co Hweol, nor insane like Mad Lord, since Co Hweol and Mad Lord will appear tomorrow if they take them. Suddenly, whisk, whisk, whisk. The three heavenly beings arguing over Kim Yong look in the direction of the Ascension Gate. There, something small is flying towards us. What? I recognize the identity of the dot and lose my composure. Not appearing tomorrow, Mad Lord Jin Bayako shouts as if screaming his name, Kuang. In an instant, a giant puppet arrives at our location. The hunchback old man with silver hair sitting on it looks down at us, smiling. Oh, I thought a cultivator from the upper realms had descended. Turns out it's just a small mortal. What unbelievable talent. I must take her as my disciple. Chapter 76. Fate 1. Ah, who might this be? Isn't this the trio? It seems like just yesterday when you three were at the nascent soul stage, and now you've grown so much. Mad Lord? White Bone Ghost Devil widens their eyes, scattering dark, ghostly energy. Their sharp roar makes the four directions tremble and the heavens and earth quake. You. Hey, are we really going to make such a disgraceful scene before the Ascension Gate? Anyway, that old man probably doesn't want to cause unnecessary trouble before the Ascension Gate opens either. As White Bone Ghost Devil is about to erupt, Jin Bayako and Sir Chang Ho holds them back by their shoulders. Mad Lord chuckles at them and then leaps down from his puppet, landing in front of us. Your words ring true. At this auspicious time when the heavens open, I don't want to create unnecessary trouble. So if you hand over that mortal to me, I shall just leave. At his words, the three heavenly being cultivators gave a cold laugh and stood in front of us, blocking his path. Jin Bayako locked eyes with Mad Lord and spoke. Sorry, but they all possess talents beyond imagination, so it's difficult to hand them over. Don't be too greedy, old man. You've already taken the core of our nether-crossing ship. What more do you desire? Hearing this, Mad Lord chuckles and strokes his beard. Ah, right. The power source I took from your stomach, it works brilliantly. I've modified and installed it as her heart. Thanks to you, she has become more complete. I'm always grateful to your Black Ghost Valley. White Bone Ghost Devil's pale face turns crimson with anger. You installed the power source of the nether-crossing ship in a mere puppet. That power source, stronger than the combined dragon veins of a major sect in a mere puppet. A mere puppet. Mad Lord's expression hardens. Say it again. She is just a mere puppet. She is alive. She will become a complete being. She is everything in my life. You want me to smash the rest of the nether-crossing ships? Kung. Mad Lord takes out a wooden box from his bosom and throws it, making it expand to his size. He places his hand on the lid of the large wooden box. A storage device? The same kind of spiritual energy fluctuation that comes from storage devices is flowing out of the box. At the same time, it feels much heavier, as if it contains far more than a typical storage device. Creak just as Mad Lord is about to lift the lid of the wooden box. It's better not to open that, Mad Lord. Chack. White Bone Ghost Devil opens the storage device at their waist, and black darkness spews out, releasing something huge. Quang. The huge object takes shape in the air and turns into a massive gate, about 10 meters in size, landing behind us. On the door of the gate, a giant ghost king is depicted. Creak. The door of the Ghost King opens. Inside is filled with pitch-black darkness, and it emits the smell of the ocean breeze. Chalang, chalang. At the same time, it sounds like the space behind the door is filled with water, making splashing sounds. I sharpen my vision to look inside the door, and am startled. Inside the door, two huge warships emitting thin, ghostly, and yin energy are floating above a dark sea, the nether-crossing ships. Although it's unclear inside the door, The ghostly energy emanating from the two nether-crossing ships is far more chilling than the wrecked one I saw in my past life. Moreover, I could feel the presence of beings with the same aura as White Bone Ghost Devil inside the two ships. So the words about bringing his entire sect in compressed form are true. White Bone Ghost Devil reveals the two nether-crossing ships and growls at Mad Lord. If you open that, I'll take it as a declaration of war right here. I warn you, do not open it. Creak. However, Mad Lord looks at White Bone Ghost Devil with a meaningful gaze and opens the lid of the box slightly more. At this, Sir Chang-ho and Jin Byuk-ho's expressions also harden. Mad Lord, the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect also warns you, do not open that. Even if you are a one-man army, do you think you can stand against all of us? I, Chang-ho, also warn you. If you pull out those things, I won't just stand by. Are you really planning to obliterate the ascension path? Crackle. As Jin Byuk-ho brings his hands together, it looks as though lightning energy is gathering. And from within the lightning, a small model of a palace appears. From inside the palace, there are clear signs of many presences. At the same time, Sir Chang-ho also pulls out a scroll from his waist and unfolds it. The scroll floats into the air and unrolls on its own, revealing a landscape painting. Numerous presences are also felt from within the landscape painting. Mad Lord grins wickedly. HMMMMMMM. Creak. The lid of the box is lifted further, you bastard. Do you really think you can wage war against us? Do you not value your life? Are you underestimating us too much? Rumble, rumble. Dark clouds gather in the clear sky, and the heavens and earth begin to shake. The three heavenly beings raise their spiritual power, pressuring the Mad Lord. However, Mad Lord remains calm under their imposing aura. You ask if I value my life. Of course I don't. My heart has long been dead. What more is there to living? You better not provoke me further and leave the mortal here. Quickly make your way to the Ascension Gate. HMPH. You could barely destroy one nether-crossing ship and ran away when you fought with my sect. In the current situation, with the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect and Heaven Creation sect combined, are you saying our three sects are inferior to you? Ha ha. Not obliterating you completely back then and merely giving you a little lesson was my mercy. Did you not realize that? And that was at my weakest moment. If you wanted to confront me, you should have joined forces at that time. Now that her heart is completed, it's even harder to face me than before. Think carefully. Creak. Mad Lord opens the lid further again. Simultaneously, numerous types of spiritual energy burst from the gap in the box, and the three heavenly beings tense up, glaring at Mad Lord. Then it happened. Swoosh, rain begins pouring around us. Huff. Huff. At the same time, Deputy Manager Ohaisio suddenly turns red and collapses. Rumble, rumble. There were already dark clouds due to the clash of aura between the heavenly beings and Mad Lord, but the flow of the clouds accelerated. What, she awakened her power today? I'm shocked, guessing why she's reacting like this. This is also a day earlier than planned. Simultaneously, the eyes of the three heavenly beings and Mad Lord turn to Deputy Manager Ohaisio. Oh, what's this? An interesting bloodline. Mad Lord's eyes sparkle as he strokes his beard. The three heavenly beings also looked at Deputy Manager O with interest. Reacting to the energy of my living puppets? Ah, I see. There's a puppet made from the royal family of the Sea Dragon tribe. Is she reacting to the bloodline of that puppet? Ha-ha, makes me want to dissect her. Mad Lord steps forward towards Deputy Manager Ohaisio, grinning, and the three heavenly beings raise their aura to block his path. You think anyone here will hand over even a single person to you, Mad Lord? If you don't back down, I'll kill everyone here and replenish them with living puppets. Creak. Mad Lord lifts the lid of the box further, and the faces of the three heavenly beings become even more distorted with fierce anger. Their aura alone seems enough to shatter heaven and earth. Just then, crash, lightning flashes in the sky, and suddenly a new figure appears in the arena. A young man with blue hair wearing a blue robe. A small horn protrudes from his forehead, and he radiates a composed aura. Well, the heavens are twisting, and something calls to my bloodline, so I came early. Didn't expect to see familiar faces. Sea Dragon King Coh we all. Ultimately, even he appeared at a different time than in my past life. It's been a while. Golden Heavenly Lightning Sect Master. Elder of Black Ghost Valley. Heaven Creation Sect Leader. And Coh we all greets Mad Lord with a smile in his eyes. Mad Lord is here too. While rushing over, I heard the wind say that there's a conflict between you and the three. May I mediate? Fighting here in Ascension Path during this auspicious time is something none of you would want. Especially you, Mad Lord. Instead of trying to destroy the Ascension Path, why not close that thing upon Coh we all's arrival? Mad Lord smirks in amusement, and the three heavenly beings show delight. Ha ha, if the respectable Sea Dragon King says so, it must be credible. Yes, the Sea Dragon King has resolved many conflicts and brought peace. We hope you'll advise that old man to keep his composure. I too find the Sea Dragon King trustworthy. Jin Bayuk Ho, White Bone Ghost Devil, and Sir Chango Ho greet Coh we all with trust. However, Mad Lord chuckles mockingly. Puha ha ha ha? What? That guy mediates disputes and brings peace. He's the one who spread discord and schemed across the continent. Are you all brainless? Jin Bayuk Ho refutes. Don't slander the Sea Dragon King, Mad Lord. Unlike you, who lacks credibility, the Sea Dragon King has been mediating conflicts all this time. Ha ha ha. All of you are blinded from only looking after your own sects. You must roam freely like me to see the truth. Does he seem kind and reputable? He's a broken man. He wears a thick mask, hiding his true self, even I can't see through him. HMPH, isn't it natural for everyone to hide some of their thoughts? Heh, are you naive because you're young or unbroken? You know nothing. There's something only those with broken hearts understand. I, too, am broken and know my kind. He's a monster, more twisted and rotten than me, Coh we all. Did you think wearing your mask would fool everyone? I can see through it. I'm broken like you. Coh we all simply smiles gracefully, not responding. Coh we all. Just because your heart is dead, locking it in a mask will only worsen it. Wouldn't it be better to live freely like me? Ha ha, I've lived as my heart desires. I have nothing to regret, so isn't this a life to be grateful for? Huh, the conflicts and pain you've caused by following your heart. You're turning more into a monster. Make your choices wisely. Coh we all smiles silently without changing his expression. Thank you for the advice, old man. You're older than me, old man. How hypocritical. Isn't it right to consider anyone with something to teach as a senior in life? White Bone Ghost Devil scoffs at their conversation. Sea Dragon King, you have a hard time. Such a great person being slandered by that senile monster. A heart disease? More like that mad old man is the one with a diseased heart. He's a lunatic who turns normal people into puppets with his crazy logic. It's not my crazy logic, you fool. I've realized one of the world's principles and evolved others to implement it. White Bone Ghost Devil looked disgusted and stops arguing with Mad Lord, turning to Coh we all. I don't want to fight with that mad old man anymore. Sea Dragon King, please mediate. Understood. Old man and you three, is this dispute mainly about those mortals? Yes. We found them first, so we have the right to make them disciples. But that wretched old man keeps telling us to leave. Huh, do you think you can teach those kids well? Especially the one with the vast consciousness, only I can teach her the best. From my perspective, the woman using the Sea Dragon tribe's power to control the wind and rain. You, as a spiritual beast, can teach her the best. Mad Lord points at Manager Kim, indicating himself, then points at Deputy Manager O, indicating Coh we all. What nonsense. Our Azure Ghost Valley lacks no elemental methods. Do you know how long our sect's history is? I don't care how old your Black Ghost Valley is. I know you have plenty of techniques, but do you have a proper teacher? Especially me, I've learned many consciousness-related techniques in various ways. I can teach much more about controlling consciousness. Coh Wall speaks slowly to them. Firstly, I want to ask you three. Realistically, can you withstand the spatial pressure if you add 2 more people each right now? The 3 heavenly beings look concerned. Coh we all continues. I suppose you've all put your full effort into ascending your sects this time. In each sect's building or ship, selected disciples are under the Elder's guidance, resisting the spatial pressure. Right. Adding one more person would be fine as you can bear their pressure. But adding more than two could disrupt the formation and increase the risk of failing the ascent. Especially since you're attempting the ascent during the widest opening of the ascension gate. Failure is not an option. Cohweal's calm explanation is met with expressions of regret on the faces of the three heavenly beings. However, it is true that the three of you discovered these humans first. You acknowledge that, right, old man? I understand that old man's logic is different from the usual, but even in your logic, the sequence of time does not change. Mad Lord chuckles at Cohweal's words and nods his head. Well, let's just say that's correct for now. So, wouldn't it be right for old man to offer appropriate compensation to the three of you? In a way, old man is trying to snatch away the treasure you discovered, so it's only fair that you receive proper compensation. Upon hearing this, the complexions of the three heavenly men brighten. Indeed, Cohweal, you are a wise judge, a truly excellent response. The future of the Sea Dragon tribe is bright. However, Mad Lord's eyes sparkle as he lifts the lid of the box further. But what if I refuse? Upon hearing this, the Sea Dragon King frowns as if he has a headache, and the three heavenly beings' faces contort. I belong to no sect and have no living beings to take along, so I bear almost no pressure. I could just smash all of you right here, along with the unique constitution individuals you've chosen, capture them all, dissect, and evolve them for my world. Why should I bother negotiating? At this, the Sea Dragon King takes a deep breath. Q-Woong, wind begins to blow around him. I made the best offer I could. If you continue to ignore my proposal, the Sea Dragon tribe and I will join the three sects in attacking Old Man and retrieve the bodies of my kin whom Old Man kidnapped in the past. HMPH, pretending to care about your kin just to secure a moral high ground. Isn't that just laying the groundwork for your argument? After a brief stare-down between Cohweal and Mad Lord smiles and closes the box. Fine. I'll concede a bit today. If it's just the three of you, it's unknown, but with the Dragon King involved, I might indeed lose. I need to ascend and complete her this time, so I'll go along with your proposal. He steps back and points at Kim Yeon. I'll take her as my disciple. The compensation will be discussed later. I swear it in front of her. Thump, thump, thump. Mad Lord taps on the wooden box and listens closely to its surface. Then, nodding solemnly, he speaks. Did you hear that? She has also witnessed my oath. The three heavenly beings watch Mad Lord's actions, their faces twisting in disdain. What's this? A puppet speaking. Cohweal sighs and says to the three heavenly beings, you know that old man's logic is different from the norm. But from what I've observed, every oath sworn before her by old man has been upheld. I guarantee it, so please trust me. At this, the three heavenly beings click their tongues but nod. Then I'll take this mortal as my disciple, and we'll discuss compensation later. What about that mortal? Mad Lord points at Deputy Manager O. From my insight, Cohweal seems most likely to draw out that mortal's potential. But I'm worried that the young mortal might learn only bad things from Cohweal. How about I take that her too? At this, Cohweal's eyebrows twitch. But soon regaining his composure, he turns to Deputy O-Hi-Co with a pleasant smile. To be honest, it would be too burdensome for any of the three cultivators to take two, and it wouldn't be ideal to leave two with old man. Would you permit me to take this woman? I too promise, staking my honor, to offer compensation later. Upon hearing this, the three heavenly beings glare at Mad Lord and speak. Since the Dragon King has mediated, let's do so. They seem displeased that Mad Lord is gaining more advantage. Then, Cohweal approaches Deputy Manager O. At the same time, I feel dizzy. Why? Has it come to this? I asked them to awaken Manager Kim's talent, and sensing it, Mad Lord flew in, ready to confront the three heavenly beings. Mad Lord, having opened the box, released the energy of the biological puppets of the Sea Dragon race's royal family. Awakening Deputy Manager O. COH we all, feeling Deputy Manager O's ability, arrived faster than expected, mediated and distributed the personnel as originally fated. As originally fated. Everything, strangely enough, is flowing exactly as it should have been, according to the original history. I kneel before them with a hollow laugh. Seniors, please hear my words. These people are my colleagues. Can you just let them stay with me? Upon hearing this, Mad Lord flicks his finger. I forgot about that. What are you? Why do you, a human, carry a demon core inside? This is new. I want to dissect you. Crack. Simultaneously, my inner core inside my dantian starts to ache as if being pulled out. Under Mad Lord's will, my inner core is being drawn outward. I feel like my abdomen would rip open any moment. Whoosh. A gentle energy flows between me and Mad Lord, blocking his energy. Surprisingly, the owner of the energy is COH we all. How can old man torment such a powerless being? It's better to refrain from such actions during this auspicious time. HMPH. Such a hypocrite. Fine. It's just a Kai-building demon core anyway. It won't be much use for research. I'll leave it be. Tusk. Tough luck getting caught by the madman. Sir Chang-ho taps my shoulder. His touch heals the internal injury I sustained from Mad Lord in my dantian. COH we all looks at Mad Lord and speaks. Swear that you won't bother these weak and pitiful beings after we leave. What? Have you gone mad, COH we all? What are you even talking about? Why torment the powerless during such an auspicious time? At this, Mad Lord bursts into laughter after staring blankly at COH we all for a moment. Ha ha ha. Disgusting, utterly disgusting. It's a pity that you all don't know the atrocities COH we all has committed while being holed up in your sects. It's so revolting it almost makes me sick. Fine. I swear, impressed by your disgustingness, even she suggests to just empathize and let it slide. Mad Lord swore to her that he would no longer bother us, then stepped back. COH we all, with a kind smile, looks at me and says to the three heavenly beings, I've seen on my way here that the three of you have also harmed many spirits of ascension path. What's done is done, but please exercise restraint to avoid negativity during this auspicious time. Jin Bayuk-ho, White Bone Ghost Devil, and Sir Chang-ho nod reluctantly. We've embarrassed ourselves in front of the Dragon King. We'll exercise caution. How righteous you are, see Dragon King. COH we all chuckles, exchanging pleasantries with them, then picks up Deputy Manager O and approaches me, who is managing the pain in my dantian. I don't know the details, but you're undoubtedly of demi-human lineage. Since it's come to this, would you be willing to do me a favor? What is it? COH we all takes out a dark bead from his robe. Due to sensing this woman's energy and arriving hastily, there is something I couldn't handle. I should have delivered this bead to one of my descendants remaining in the sea, but I failed to do so. Can you deliver this bead to my descendant, CO Ran, who resides near Utmost Chaos Island? If you agree to my request, as a reward, I will give you a special cultivation manual suitable for someone of your demi-human lineage. COH we all then takes out a demon beast method bound in demon beast leather and hands it to me. The title of the manual is Summoning Wind, Dragon Transformation. Ah, so this was why he saved me. Now I understand COH we all's intentions. Hiding my rising disgust, I put on a mask of gratitude in front of COH we all and accept what he has given. Thank you, Dragon King. I will not forget the favor you have shown. You're welcome. And remember, Rumble, his gaze becomes fierce and intense. Expressing your opinion like earlier is courageous, but it can also be reckless. Be sure to behave properly in front of those greater than yourself. To answer your question, you and that other person are of ambiguous quality for taking. Leaving your colleagues behind means they are likely to be consumed by their mythical talents and perish. If you have a way to suppress those qualities, it's a good suggestion, but if not, it's better to stay quiet and remember this. Rumble, his presence makes it hard to even breathe. The Dragon King gives me calm advice, then transforms into a dragon and flies towards the Ascension Gate. The other heavenly beings also take my colleagues and fly towards the Ascension Gate. Left in the area are only Mad Lord, who had knocked out manager Kim Yoon trying to escape, and me with Kim Young-hoon. I stare blankly into space. Why did everything turn out this way? As Mad Lord looks at me and Kim Young-hoon, a spatial rift opens. Tusk, such a hypocritical dragon. If he's going to talk like that, he should at least send them outside Ascension Path. Ha ha! In a past life, I had managed to send Kim Young-hoon away through Co Hweol's hands. But in this life, everything returned to how it originally was, like a rubber band snapping back. Probably Mad Lord will send me and Kim Young-hoon back, again, the same way to Yongyuo Sr. I ask Mad Lord, unable to hide my feeling of futility. Does fate really exist? At my question, Mad Lord strokes his beard with an intrigued expression. Fate does exist. I'm not sure if you've learned any special techniques, but when you perform the Kai refining 7 stars ritual, everyone realizes that there is such a thing called fate. He points to the sky. What is fated to happen will happen. That is fate. Then, can humans not change their fate? At this, Mad Lord smirks. You don't seem to understand the structure of fate. No, that's not the case. Every living being can change their fate. Yes. Have you ever wondered why cultivators learn the principles of the 72 earthly Sha, 36 heavenly gang, 7 stars, and the spiritual energy star during Kai building? Why do they learn the principles of the stars in the sky? His finger stabs towards the end of the void. Have you ever questioned why cultivators are against the heavens? Isn't it obvious? Because they defy the lifespan given by the heavens. Then why can cultivators defy the lifespan, the fate, given by the heavens? I have never thought about this before. Mad Lord draws in the air with pure spiritual force from his fingertip. You poor thing, let this great being explain the structure of fate to you, as she also suggests. Translator notes. Mad Lord is such a troll. Dude's insane, but he's strangely more amiable than a lot of cultivators. This doesn't change the fact that he's insane and highly dangerous, though. Chapter 77. Fate 2. Mad Lord began his explanation. As the most basic example, from the moment a human is born, they are continuously drawn towards death, which is the force of attraction of their fate. Mad Lord draws 2 points in the air and connects them with a line. This is the basic structure of life. It starts here and ends there. The slight differences in each being's lifespan introduces changes in fate. Mad Lord draws several more lines above and below the line connecting the 2 points. Let's say this line represents life. The endings of other lives, represented by these different lines, influence it. Since fate has a force of attraction, it pulls slightly towards where other fates end. Thus, fate is not a smooth, straight line from life to death, but becomes chaotic, influenced by the fates of other beings. The original line becomes uneven, adjusting to the end points of the other lines. We call this the play of fate or connections. These connections and fate determine our lives, and what is meant to happen will inevitably happen. So, the saying that what is meant to happen will happen means. Let's assume there's a close friend. That friend has a different lifespan and fate than me, meeting the fate of death earlier than me. That fate is closely attached to me and also has a force of attraction, so I inevitably get involved in the friend's death. This is why what is meant to happen will definitely happen. So, does this mean that events unrelated to death are also fated to happen? No, there are no events in this world that are not related to birth and death. Do you know how many lives are born and die in the air we breathe, even in a single moment? I may have explained fate using simple lines, but the cycle of birth and death in fate is so complex and endless that it can never be simply expressed. I see. As all beings in the cycle of birth and death carry life, it can be said that every event ultimately has a force of attraction. Mad Lord erases the lines in the air and randomly dots points. Following these forces of attraction in life, every being embarks on a long and short journey. Mad Lord starts connecting the points from the first one. Eventually, all points are connected, forming a complex and intricate trajectory. What do you think looking at this? A child scribbles? I swallow what I was about to say and reply to him. I don't quite understand. Points creating attraction and lines drawn towards them. Doesn't it resemble constellations in the night sky? Ah, tick, tick, tick. Mad Lord continues to dot points with pure spiritual force beyond the connected lines. Indeed, it resembles stars in the night sky. I've never reached the stars in the star realm, but ancient texts from cultivators who roamed the star realm say that the stars in the night sky also exert a force of attraction. Mad Lord strokes his chin and continues his explanation. Stars are much like fate, aren't they? Or rather, if those texts are true, it's more like fate resembles constellations. Fate is like constellations. Life is thus a journey of swimming through a sea of stars, finding forces of attraction close to one's fate, and events close to one's life. Being pulled by the attraction of fate, these events inevitably happen. Something seems to come to his mind, and Mad Lord looks bitter. Anyway, if we view fate as constellations and life as swimming through a sea of stars, the principle of cultivators observing the celestial energy and reading their fate is roughly like that. Detecting the nearest force of attraction of fate. Additionally, the way for cultivators to escape the force of fate's attraction is simple. When ordinary life goes from here to there, Mad Lord connects points in the air. The constellation drawn by connecting the points ends at a certain spot. The distance to the next point is quite far. It looks like the line could not be extended further. Between these stars, create a suitable star and head towards the next one. The stages of cultivation, such as the 72 earthly Shah, 36 heavenly gang, 7 stars ritual, Kai building's spiritual energy star, core formation star domain, are not there for nothing. They create something similar to a star within the body, artificially creating a flow of fate, thus extending their fate. This is how cultivators extend their lifespan and why they are called beings against the heavens. Mad Lord smirks as he continues his explanation. Then, if fate is meant to happen but one wants to escape it, how? How to escape this trajectory of fate? Simple. Mad Lord redraws the constellation. The closest thing in this fate is the next fate, but if the master of the life desires a different fate, he draws a line from one star to another, illustrating the line moving towards a different constellation than originally intended. It's difficult to move to a different fate, because the force of attraction of the next fate pulls in the existence. The line tries to move to a different constellation, but is held back by the force of attraction of the determined fate. So what should be done? The method is simple. Escape the force of fate's attraction. Whoosh. The line escapes the force of attraction of the predetermined star and lands in a different one. How do you do that? How, you ask? Power. If there is power to escape the force of attraction, one can escape from fate. As he clenches his fist, all the constellations and drawings he had made in the air disappear instantly. If you can't change fate, it's evidence of your weakness. Overwhelming power to escape the force of attraction of fate, and the bone-grinding effort to escape that force. With just these two, we can reach a different fate than the one predetermined. Things that are meant to happen will happen, but depending on the effort of the being, we may not suffer from those inevitable events. As Mad Lord continues his explanation, his eyes sparkle with excitement. If fate torments me, then I should become stronger than fate. Where else can you find such a clear solution? I, too, have strived and strived to escape from my predetermined fate. Mad Lord clutches the box beside him, gasping for breath. I will escape the fate of never meeting her again and will see her no matter what. By any means. If I keep trying, I will definitely see her again. Definitely with her. Mad Lord caresses the box with shining eyes, muttering to something inside it. Ah, my love, I love you. Please, please, talk to me again, hold the fan, and dance those steps like before. Not being able to see you is not the fate I want. If I can see you again, I will throw away all my fate and gather strength to leap to a different fate, to a place where I can see you. So please. He scratches the box frantically, speaking crazily to something inside. Certainly, he's not in his right mind. I look at manager Kim Yoon, who had been knocked out by Mad Lord. Power. The power to escape fate and effort. Yes, I am still lacking in everything. I simply lack the ability to change the current situation with my power. That's why what is meant to happen happens, and I can only watch as my colleagues are handed over to the madman and hypocrite? Thank you for your teachings. I feel a bit more understanding regarding fate thanks to him. Yes, fate will definitely happen, but it can be changed in this life. No one had their arm torn off by the fox, because I distracted the fox and became strong enough to run away from it for several days. If I become stronger, strong enough to knock down the fox, maybe I can escape the fate's attraction of the fox. Let's become stronger, stronger and stronger, increase the lifespan through cultivation, and create a constellation to escape all fate. Someday, if I become strong enough to escape even from the grasp of the heavenly being cultivators, then I can truly escape all fate. After scratching the box for a while in a frenzy, Mad Lord looks at me and Kim Young-hoon alternately and flicks his hand. Thank you for the teachings today. I have a few more questions to ask. That's enough answers for now. Go on. She is calling me. She needs my help. She says she needs oiling in her joints. She's calling me. She is. Swoosh, before me and Kim Young-hoon could react, we are pushed into a spatial rift by Mad Lord's gesture. I see the Mad Lord open the box lid and bury his upper body inside, sinking into the darkness. Once again, we found ourselves in Yangnuo, the force of fate's attraction. If there really is such a thing as the force of fate's attraction, even if Mad Lord sends us randomly, ending up in Yangnuo is also because the force of attraction pulls us there. I pondered over fate, chewing over Mad Lord's words. His words made me feel like I could grasp the concept of the Kai Building's spiritual energy star. Before Kim Young-hoon woke up, I transferred knowledge into his mind using a technique. Kim Young-hoon was confused about the knowledge in his head and asked me about my conversations with the heavenly being cultivators. I explained that I had the knowledge in my head too, and that's how I conversed with them. I managed to persuade Kim Young-hoon sufficiently and helped him establish himself in Yangnuo. After raising him to the level of 3 flowers gather at the summit, I taught him the Beyond the Path to Heaven martial arts, the record of transcending cultivation and exhausting martial arts, and other such teachings, hoping that one day he would surpass the ultimate pinnacle and enter a new realm. Then, we parted ways. Afterward, I secretly infiltrated the Jin clan, seeing my disciples, and once again, I caught a glimpse of my master from a distance at the Chungmun clan. Finally, I headed towards the Black Wind Sea. Before heading to Seo Ran's abode in the Black Wind Sea, I look at the dark bead Seo Hwial had given me. It was the bead that, in my past life, Seo Ran used to completely destroy the Nether crossing ship in a mutual self-destruction. With a wry smile, I throw the dark bead into the sea. It sinks deep, beyond anyone's reach. Seo Ran will remember you as a good king and grandfather, I think to myself. Not as a villain with a heart of a beast. That's enough. I glance at the manual of summoning wind, dragon transformation, deciding to use it as a token when I meet Seo Ran. Should I go to Seo Hyung right away? As I ponder in front of the Black Wind Sea, I know if I went now, Seo Ran would urge me to learn summoning wind, dragon transformation, and challenge the Nether crossing ship again in a few years. No, that won't do. I sigh. Even both of us together couldn't defeat the core formation level ghost spirit in the Nether crossing ship. Seo Ran, unaware of my situation, will probably wait for years. I lack the power to change Seo Ran's fated death. So, I'll seek the power to change fate before going to him. No matter how long it takes or what effort is needed. I'll enter Kai Building and then go to him. I make my decision and head to Shattered Heaven Peak in the Great Mountains of Shengzi, where the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder Sect and a mountain with good dragon veins are located. 5 years have passed since my return. With a sigh, the brown clouds swirling around me are sucked into my nose and mouth. Through understanding before breakthrough and repeated insights in each life, my understanding of the earth-surpassing path increased. 5 years to reach mastery this time. The water, fire, and metal-surpassing paths, mastered in the past life, will take about 8 years each to master now. If this pace continues, I can master all the methods in the 5 surpassing paths to cultivation in 40 years. It's possible. In this life, Reaching Kai building is achievable. I open my eyes and release gang spheres. Now I can stably control 9 gang spheres. I've consolidated at the extreme of ultimate pinnacle. It's time to move beyond, but materializing consciousness is still challenging. The gang spheres can meld into my consciousness, but it can't hold its essence, and the energy dissipates. How can I materialize this power in my consciousness? Even as I ponder over the beyond the path to heaven martial arts, it remains complex and subjective. Hence, I spend my time continuing to practice the martial art and mastering the water-surpassing path. 8 years later, I have mastered the water-surpassing path, but still haven't deciphered the beyond the path to heaven martial arts. Despite recalling Kim Young-hoon's trials and errors, the martial art remains elusive. It's around this time. Kim Young-hoon came to Shattered Heaven Peak. What brings you here? I'm speechless at his rapid growth. Have you already reached the end of ultimate pinnacle? It makes no sense. We are just in the 13th year since my return. Has he already surpassed the 5 energies converging to the origin, reached ultimate pinnacle, and even its end? As I ask him in astonishment, Kim Young-hoon gives a wry smile. I reached the end of ultimate pinnacle and helped the Jin clan, a cultivator clan, in driving out the Makli clan, a devil path clan from Yongyuo. I thought I had achieved everything, but only at the extreme of ultimate pinnacle did I realize that if I settled here, I would gain nothing. He looks serious. That's why I left everything, including my external elder position in the Jin clan, to come to you. Together, we need to discuss this beyond the path to heaven martial arts in our minds and move to the next realm. I instinctively know. To reach this realm, I can no longer rely solely on innate talent. It's a realm that can only be achieved through decades of intense training. I understood the bloodied and painful efforts of the creator of the beyond the path to heaven martial arts. He floats 9 gang spheres around him. I have reached the extreme, but honestly, I have no idea how to move to the next realm. Even though the predecessor carved the path forward with their blood, I don't dare to walk it alone. His eyes fill with a somber look. It will take decades of intense practice, even for someone like me. So walk this path together with me. Reach this realm with me. Yet, even in his somber state, his eyes tell me he has no thoughts of giving up. Kim Hyung. They say to change one's fate, humans need both the effort to break free from fate's attraction and the power to do so. But perhaps what truly frees humans from fate is not power, but will. Understood. I meet his eyes, reaffirming my resolve for this life. Let's together surpass fate. From that day, Kim Young-hoon and I began our simultaneous cultivation at Shattered Heaven Peak. I suddenly wake up. Was it a dream of the past? It was a dream about the day Kim Young-hoon and I decided to train together at Shattered Heaven Peak. I shake my head to clear it. I passed out to the point of dreaming. Thud, thud. I stand up, dusting off the dirt and stone powder from my body. The vicinity of Shattered Heaven Peak is a mess. There are sword and saber marks everywhere, and craters caused by gang spheres all around. Cough, cough. I use a palm strike to clear the dust and look for Kim Young-hoon. If I remember correctly, during our spar, Kim Young-hoon and I had struck each other and were thrown in opposite directions. I had taken a blow from Kim Young-hoon and lost consciousness momentarily, ending up dreaming about the past. But Kim Young-hoon had taken not only my kick, but also dozens of cultivator spells, so I don't know his condition. Kim Hyung. Kim? While searching, I see Kim Young-hoon below in the valley, half buried. Damn it. If we had just fought using martial arts from the start, it would have been somewhat safer. If Kim Young-hoon hadn't been stubborn about gaining enlightenment in a life-and-death struggle, insisting we use both martial arts and cultivation techniques, it wouldn't have come to this. Kim Hyung, Kim Hyung. I use a light body technique to descend into the valley and pull out Kim Young-hoon, who was half buried. Cough, cough. It seems he wasn't seriously injured despite being buried head first, perhaps because he used protective gang kai at the moment of impact. Cough, chuckle. He spits out blood, but at least he isn't dead from the head-first crash. Please wait. I'll perform first aid first. I bring the herbs and acupuncture needles I had prepared before the duel and start treating Kim Young-hoon. Tap, 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 tap. I insert needles into Kim Young-hoon's body to activate his life force. Soon after, Kim Young-hoon regains consciousness. Kim Hyung, are you okay? How many fingers am I holding up? 2. You're in bad shape. I clench my fist, tucking in my index finger, and click my tongue. I'll do the treatment first and then go to the cultivator's market to buy some healing talismans. For now. No, I mean 2. Kim Young-hoon, waking up from his dazed state, speaks decisively. I meant I gained 2 insights this time. Crack. Kim Young-hoon stands up. Cough, cough. He coughs up blood. On the brink of life and death, I found a clue to the next realm. I've somewhat succeeded in understanding the enlightenment of the beyond the path to heaven martial arts. He wipes the blood from his mouth and grins. One thing's for sure. The beyond the path to heaven martial arts is a martial art steeped in the subjectivity of its creator. The reason is, the realm obtained through the beyond the path to heaven martial arts is different for each person. Really. Beyond the ultimate pinnacle, the realm is reached through different enlightenments for each individual. Up to this point, it was divided only by the type of weapon and martial arts, but beyond this, it differs based on the person. I listen to Kim Young-hoon's insights, and my mouth opens in amazement. 35 years into the return, Kim Young-hoon began to gain insights into the next step through the beyond the path to heaven martial arts. Translator notes. Extra chapter donated by Satino and Iwant Moore. Thanks for the support. Mr. Satino really be burning my stockpile. One more extra chapter coming soon, T. Chapter 78, Fate 3. Are you saying that the realm differs for each individual? I ask, struggling to understand. Kim Young-hoon, wiping his blood, begins to explain. More precisely, while materializing consciousness is the same, what materializes differs for each person. He pauses, seemingly in thought, then continues. Honestly, I've only grasped a clue, so I'm not entirely sure. But one thing's certain, the beyond the path to heaven martial arts continuously speaks about someone's life. I don't know who that someone is. But since the realm beyond is achieved due to someone's life experiences, and since every human life is different, wouldn't there be a unique martial art for each life beyond this realm? A different martial art for each life. That idea somehow tickles a corner of my heart. But you mentioned 2 realizations, right? If one is that the realm beyond ultimate pinnacle differs for each person, what's the other? Oh, the other is just a personal realization. Kim Young-hoon says with a faint smile. I realized that I truly long for home. All this time, my motivation for practicing martial arts was the hope that I might one day return home to see my family. He caresses his chest and closes his eyes, the faces I long to see as soon as possible. I realize only now that I've been madly practicing martial arts to forget that pain, gripping the saber until my hands tore to achieve that goal. Kim Young-hoon looks up at the sky with a distant gaze. I apologize. This doesn't quite seem like a martial art realization. No, it's not that. I shake my head in disagreement and explain why it can still be a martial art realization. I explain what I felt when I reached the state of 5 energies converging to the origin. Everything I've done is part of my life. Just as heaven, earth, and man influence each other, what I've done has also been influenced by my life. If you've realized something about your life, then it will surely blend into your martial arts. Kim Hyung. Sometimes talking to you feels like speaking with a wise old man. Though I'm surely better in martial arts, you have something I don't. He looks at me with a perplexed expression. Maybe you too will reach beyond this realm as quickly as I do. Haha, that's unlikely. How can I match your talent, Kim Hyung? Weren't you fast in reaching the extreme of ultimate pinnacle? That's enough talent. Of course, not as much as mine. But anyway, when I, with my superior talent, observe you, I think that if I'm a bird born to fly quickly into the sky, you are a volcano. A volcano. Do you know how a volcano erupts? Well, I'm not too sure. I've just heard about it. Lava keeps rising beneath a volcano, accumulating until it can't withstand the pressure anymore, and then it explodes. If I'm a bird naturally flying swiftly up high, you are a high mountain and, moreover, a mountain filled with lava, ready to explode with a force much more powerful than any bird when it does. He encourages me with a smile. Reflect well on your life. Perhaps things you've overlooked have accumulated, creating potential you're unaware of. Unknowingly accumulated things. All I've built is merely time. Anyway, let's not stay here. Let's treat you properly, Kim Hyung. I take Kim Young-hoon for proper treatment. And then, I start to ponder more about the topic Kim Young-hoon brought up. Time flows on. Before I knew it, I had fully mastered the earth, water, fire, and metal surpassing paths, and the wood surpassing path had also taken root based on my accumulated foundation. The wood surpassing path is the easiest. Perhaps it's because the other 5 elements' power properly supports it. The wood surpassing path gathers spiritual power so easily and quickly, thanks to the mutual support of the 5 elements. It's smooth sailing. Now the wood surpassing path is at the level of Kai refining 13th star. Unified origin. Just a little more and it will be complete. I am about to fully master the 5 surpassing paths to cultivation. Of course, it's uncertain if I can enter Kai building. Despite all this effort, I might not reach Kai building in this life. Kim Hyung said I have potential, but I am a slow learner. Perhaps even more so than he imagines if I can't extend my lifespan by entering Kai building this life. Reaching beyond ultimate pinnacle might remain a dream. It's been almost 5 years since Kim Young-hoon grasped the clue to the Beyond the Path to Heaven martial arts. He dived daily into the Beyond the Path to Heaven martial arts to the point of bleeding from his hands, knocking at the gates beyond ultimate pinnacle. But for me, it's entirely different. Even while practicing cultivation methods, I never ceased to train in martial arts whenever I had a moment. I never slackened for a single moment, never letting go of the sword from my hand. Even after reaching ultimate pinnacle, where a sword becomes unnecessary, I always maintained a sharp spirit, never forgetting the feel of practicing swordsmanship. For the past 40 years, I wasn't just focused solely on cultivation methods, not just in this life, but in the previous ones too. Suddenly, I begin to confuse how many lives I have lived. Is this the 9th? 10th? I've undergone 9 returns. During these returns, how many years did I live? No, don't think about it. How many years did I practice martial arts, and how many years did I cultivate? It's the early signs of a heart demon. Don't think more. In each of the 9 returns, I nearly lived close to 50 years in each life, even considering the lives where I died earlier when I add up all the lives I've lived so far. No, around 500 years. Roughly, a lifespan of 500 years. Ugh, huff. Walquack. Blood spills as energy and blood twists. Even after 500 years of practicing martial arts, I still can't grasp beyond this point. Gang Kai uncontrollably escapes from my body, splitting into 9 pieces. In the world of intent, 9 versions of myself surround me, each uttering gloomy words. How about gradually letting go of martial arts now? After all, the initial goal of reaching 5 energies converging to the origin and breaking through divine consciousness has been achieved. Now I'm at least not so weak to be torn apart by a fox. Martial arts are not my talent. Isn't it better to focus on one thing instead of forcing what doesn't work? It isn't that I have a split personality, they are all me. The voices are my own self-talking. Honestly, how much of Kim Young-hoon's advice do I even understand? Walquack. I try to control my emotions, but I omit blood again. Even a genius like Kim Young-hoon, unprecedented for 1,000 years before and after, remained at the extreme of ultimate pinnacle for several lives. I've barely managed to pass on knowledge and enlightenment to get to this point, but that's Kim Young-hoon's story. How many more years will it take for someone without talent like me to reach Kim Young-hoon's level? Another 500 years of training. Ugh, krghhh, I bleed a little more and then heal my internal injuries. Let's face it. What have I achieved in these 500 years? Haven't I just wasted time? Thoughts storm through my mind. The words being uttered by the gang sphere avatars are the immediate, dark thoughts made manifest. Why am I practicing martial arts? Suddenly, such a question echoes in my mind, because I need power. The moment I hear that question, the storm of scattered thoughts somewhat clear. It's simple, isn't it? The words of Mad Lord come to mind. One overcomes fate's attraction with a power that surpasses it. I've just done everything I could. What more do you want from me? Within the boundaries of humanity, I've struggled and tried to overcome fate. That is all. I know. Perhaps entering Kai building in this life is just my vain hope. Even if I enter Kai building and practice for hundreds of years, I might not even step beyond ultimate pinnacle. I'm no different from dust under this vast sky. But even if I'm just a bug or dust, I cherish each and every life. As I speak and sort out my thoughts, the clouds in my mind seem to clear bit by bit. Martial arts have become one with my life. I cherish them too. I raise my head. The intent avatars that coldly spoke to me disappeared, leaving only the spheres of Gang Kai in front of me. I disperse the Gang sphere and clench my fist. It doesn't matter how many years it takes. I cherish my life. Even if everything goes back to square one, all I will have left is the memory that I did my best. My energy and blood stabilize. I might not have gained a great enlightenment, but I fended off the heart demon. However, I still feel a slight tightness in my chest. I feel like I could have realized something. Not realizing it might also be due to my lack of talent. I can't help it. I have to pour more time into it. As my energy and blood settle, the powers I had cultivated over the years begin to stir. Still, I've finally reached here after pouring in so much time. Kagagagugu, the wood attribute energy surges, creating a point of spiritual power, and then it explodes. Boom. A shockwave erupts from my lower dantian, and a cloud of green energy, the color of the wood element, rises up. Yellow, black, red, white, green. I've fully mastered the 5 surpassing paths to cultivation. Phew! As I exhale, clouds of 5 colors swirl around me. Should I try to break through to Kai building? I close my eyes with a smile. The 5 elements are tailing each other, dramatically increasing my recovery rate. I wonder what will happen if I attempt Kai building this time. Kagagugu. I absorb the clouds of 5 colors, filling my lower dantian to the brim. The clouds of 5 colors spin inside, converging towards the center. Here goes. Kagagugu, I, a fool, have climbed up in the most ignorant way, pouring in accumulated time. No matter how thick the wall of Kai building might be, can it really stand against all my time? Boom! A star of 5 colors lit up inside me, but the star of 5 colors keep vibrating with slight changes stemming from my 5 element spiritual roots, and once again, cracks form in the star. Cracks snap, boom, eventually another explosion occurs, the star shatters, and all the spiritual clouds I have accumulated for the Kai building attempt dissipate. The cultivation I had built up to 14th star of Kai refining falls back to 12th star. Phew! It's another failure. But then, phew. It was after about 20 breaths. Kagagugu power began to surge back into my lower abdomen. When I had fully mastered 4 methods, my recovery rate of spiritual power was already fast enough to restore all my cultivation in half a day. Now that I have mastered all 5 elemental methods, the recovery rate of my spiritual power is so fast that the cultivation of 14th star Kai refining can be fully recovered in the time it takes for 20 breaths. Let's go again. Kagagagugu. Having quickly recovered the cloud of 5 colors, I once again attempted Kai building. Kung. With each explosion of the star, I observed the flow of the 5 elements. The changes in the 5 elements correspond precisely to the 5 elemental methods I have mastered. With each failure, I begin to see clear reasons for the failure. A life of nothing but failure upon failure upon failure. The rotten failures are accumulating, and someday will sprout a seed. Simultaneously, each time I observe the flow of the 5 elements, the power of the 5 surpassing paths to cultivation settled inside me seems to gradually find balance. Among the methods I have learned so far, the earth-surpassing path had a little more spiritual power than the others, and there were slight differences in energy according to the order in which they were learned. Although the difference was so slight it was barely noticeable, these tiny differences are gradually being filled. moving towards perfect balance. Every time these small gaps are filled, I found that my recovery rate improved slightly, little by little. From around 20 breaths to 19 and a half. Go further. Kuong, I focused on my lower dantian and continue my training. There are about 10 more years left. Within that time, I must break through. I enter a cave deep in shattered Heaven Peak and continually challenge Kai Building, adjusting the slight ratio of spiritual power in the 5 surpassing paths to cultivation. Kim Young-hoon, too, did not come to visit, likely caught up in his own intense training and realizations somewhere. And then a few months passed. Yoon Hyun come out. Yes, Kim Hyung, what's? Wow. I, startled by Kim Young-hoon's appearance. He's so emaciated that his bones are showing and dark circles have sunk deep under his eyes, making him look like a living skeleton. His hands are also covered in scabs, gripping a saber so that the scabs seem to merge with the saber, giving the impression that his hand and the saber are connected. For the past 50 or so days, I've survived on the energy of my inner core alone, swinging my saber like a madman. And Yoon Hyun. A single tear trickles down Kim Young-hoon's gaunt face. After 40 years of hard training, finally, I've reached it. Engrossed in my cultivation practice, I have been unaware of Kim Young-hoon's activities. From now on, I will begin my ascent. I came to show you. Yes. I stop my cultivation, rise from my place, and follow Kim Young-hoon. We go to the front of a small peak located at the lower part of shattered Heaven Peak. Kim Young-hoon, gaunt and emaciated, lifts his saber. Let me explain slowly. About the realm beyond. He begins his explanation. The key to reaching the stage beyond lies in finding the form of consciousness that best suits humans. The founder of Beyond the Path to Heaven martial arts tried to transform human consciousness into the same form as humans, like the demon-beast methods, but abandoned it, feeling it wasn't the way of martial arts. However, he pondered why demon beasts transform their consciousness into the same form as their species, referencing the demon-beast methods. He concluded that it was to amplify their inherent wild nature, responding to the energy and thus strengthening the body to its limits. As he explains, he slowly and languidly begins to perform the severing vein saber method. Gradually, his form of consciousness begins to change, stimulating my upper dantian. Why did the founder of Beyond the Path to Heaven martial arts conclude that this was not the inherent form of human consciousness? I pondered this repeatedly, and then realized something while delving into the profound subjectivity of the Beyond the Path to Heaven martial arts. His slow saber dance movements gradually pick up pace. Humans are inherently unique beings. Demon beasts, initially lacking intelligence and gaining it through spiritual awakening, did not need to ponder their lives and thus chose to enhance their wildness. But we, inherently intelligent, are beings who ponder. If we live lives full of pondering, each person's worries and lives will inevitably differ. His consciousness begins to be suffused with light. Therefore, the most suitable form of consciousness for humans is inevitably linked to what each individual has most profoundly pondered in their life. It's a golden light. Unlike the previous life's Kim Young-hoon, who simply burned his life to leap forward, the Kim Young-hoon who had rightly pondered his goal all his life is showing a much more stable level of achievement. I feel like I could glimpse the happiest times of his life through that golden consciousness. Times spent sleeping with his family, eating meals, and leading a normal, everyday life. All those times around Kim Young-hoon, 9 versions of himself appear. 9 gang spheres rotate around him. Gradually, they begin to merge into his consciousness. What I most wanted and wished for in my lifelong martial arts training was to cross the sky like a beam of light to return to my family. Yoon Hyun, you said that life melts into martial arts. You were right. The characteristic of my martial arts being swift was imbued with my desire to return to my family even faster. Ah, his consciousness materializes and condenses. I thought his consciousness had merged into his blade as a solid line. But looking again, his consciousness itself has become the blade. The form of consciousness that best suits Kim Young-hoon is a golden saber. The blade of consciousness merges with the saber that Kim Young-hoon is holding. The final movement of the severing vein saber method ends. Observing his every move in a flash, not missing even a moment, I watch everything about him, in the world of an instant. In that world, my consciousness communicates with Kim Young-hoon, who holds a blazing golden blade. What is the name of that place? In the world of an instant, my consciousness and his engage in dialogue. What do you think it is? Tell me, please. I pondered and pondered. But it was so clear, he smiles slightly. This realm, built upon the blood and tears of the founder of Beyond the Path to Heaven martial arts. I can't ignore it. I can't even imagine the pain and history it took to pioneer this realm. From the record of transcending cultivation and exhausting martial arts to reaching the Beyond the Path to Heaven martial arts. The new history of martial arts, forged in Kim Young-hoon's blood. Even though Ultimate Pinnacle was a fictional realm, this surpasses even fiction. Then, it's only right that the first pioneer is qualified to name it. I don't have the qualifications. Therefore, this realm shall follow the will of its founder. Just as the saber of golden consciousness and the saber steeped in Kim Young-hoon's blood merge. The image of Kim Young-hoon from past cycles seems to overlap with the current Kim Young-hoon. No, the corpses of Kim Young-hoon from all past lives are behind him. The history of martial arts he created, made from his blood, becomes one with the new realm. It shall be called Beyond the Path to Heaven. The next moment. In the world of an instant, the saber of light swings at a speed that even my tenfold accelerated thought cannot follow, illuminating the four corners of heaven and earth with golden brilliance. Beyond the path to heaven, the surpassing radiant saber. The beam of radiance cuts through space, splitting the peak before us in half. The sound of the explosion follows belatedly, and soon after, the explosion roars. This is my own path of life I have reached. Kim Young-hoon, with tears in his eyes, turns to look at me. I only now understand that life is joy. To all the predecessors who made me who I am now, to my family, and to life itself, I am grateful. Amidst the dust clouds created by the collapsing peak, Kim Young-hoon laughs and laughs again. Translator notes, my stockpile is like a phoenix. It dies and rebirth in the flames, stronger and more abundant than ever. And there we have it. The next realm of martial arts. Kim Young-hoon should be a writer with his skill in naming. Chapter 79, Fate 4. Ah, it's beautiful, so very dazzling. I silently watch Kim Young-hoon. He's shining. Kim Young-hoon is shining so brightly. Amazing, you truly are. Normally, I would have given him a bright smile or perhaps show my respect with a bow. But right now, I can only quietly admire his achievement. He seems akin to light itself, maybe because of the lingering heart demon of my last ordeal. Compared to him, I feel so insignificant. Really? Congratulations. He looks at me and smiles faintly, and then Kim Young-hoon collapses, thud. Ah, that's right. He has reached this realm by swinging his saber like a madman for months without proper rest or food. I hurriedly carry Kim Young-hoon, lay him down, and treat him. Watching him asleep, I let out a bitter smile. Is this envy? No, it isn't. It's a sense of deprivation about my own talent, a bit of emptiness and feeling of insignificance. While he blossoms his talent and continuously progresses, I need many times more time to cover the same distance. Seeing his light, maybe it's because the shadows in my heart seem to deepen. I feel even my hope is fading. Can I reach Kai Building within the remaining time? Honestly, I'm not sure. The balance is becoming increasingly perfect and my recovery time shortened. But I still haven't reached Kai Building. Continually adjusting the ratio of the 5 surpassing paths to cultivation while trying to break through Kai Building is becoming more difficult. Both cultivation and martial arts. It feels like even the heavens are forcibly rejecting me. If there is such a thing as the attraction of fate, what kind of force is binding me from reaching the next realm? Can I really overcome the barrier to the next realm in this lifetime? With a heavy heart, I revitalized Kim Young-hoon's vital energy for several days. A few days later, Kim Young-hoon wakes up. Kim Hyung, are you feeling all right? As he gets up, he looks over me for a while. Kim Hyung, When I ask again, Kim Young-hoon finally looks at me and smiles faintly. He nods his head. Any discomfort? He shakes his head. Are you having difficulty speaking? He shakes his head again and looks at me meaningfully with a smile. What's going on? Kim Young-hoon gets up, grabs his saber, and goes outside. He looks at the sky for a moment with a smile, then climbs onto a nearby high rock, resting his chin in his hand, and watches me. He looks like he's observing me. I read Kim Young-hoon's intent. His intent is full of interest, curiosity, and anticipation. Anticipation. Could it be? His intuition seems to feel that I would reach a similar realm as him, or maybe he's just expecting me to reach the same realm as him. Kim Hyung, I don't have as much talent as you think. But Kim Young-hoon just observes me without any reaction. After a while, I sigh, go inside to adjust my cultivation and practice martial arts. From that day, Kim Young-hoon's strange behavior continued. After reaching the realm of beyond the path to heaven and waking up again, Kim Young-hoon stopped speaking. It wasn't aphasia. Sometimes he went out to buy necessities and spoke then. But even at those times, he did not directly converse with me. He never spoke a word to me, just always looked at me with curiosity and anticipation in his eyes. If I seemed burdened, he would go far away to a distant peak. But I knew he was always watching me, even from afar. It's burdensome, as if he's curious about when I would reach the next realm. No, it was more than that. He's certain of it. Sometimes I would ask him for martial arts guidance, or to observe the martial arts of beyond the path to heaven, but he avoided conversation and no longer taught me anything. It felt like he was reluctant to show any thoughts towards me. What does this mean? I was frustrated to the point of madness, but I had to accept his stance and continued to practice martial arts and adjust the 5 surpassing paths to cultivation myself. Time kept passing. No matter how much time passes, Kim Young-hoon maintains his odd observer's behavior around me patiently. I feel like I'm going crazy. He showed no thoughts, didn't teach, didn't offer advice or even talk to me. He just looked at me with transparent eyes, as if he was certain that one day I would definitely reach the same realm as him, full of significant anticipation. What year is it? How many times has it been? I failed again. I kept observing and re-observing the changes in the 5 elements through repeated failures. As a result, I understand more than 70% of the changes. Yet, I still haven't reached the Kai building stage. If I can grasp the remaining 30% of the changes, I will probably be able to ascend to the Kai building stage. But time is really running out. Is it 1 month, 2, 3 months left? My life is nearing its end. With heavy eyes, I look up at the sky. Neither martial arts nor cultivation can take me beyond. I am no different from dust. Yet, Kim Young-hoon, like a speck of dust, still looks at me from afar with eyes full of expectation. Thud, thud. I approach Kim Young-hoon and speak. As I said before, my life is slowly coming to an end. Being a cultivator, I am well aware of my own lifespan. Why haven't you spoken to me since you entered beyond the path to heaven? By now, you must realize I lack talent, so can't you at least offer some guidance? He just gives a faint, bitter smile. Fine. I'm about to die. You won't help or advise me. I just came to say goodbye. If I fail to enter the Kai building stage this time, I will truly die. I really don't understand why you, Kim Hyung, are practicing this silent cultivation. Frankly, I'm baffled and frustrated as to why you suddenly stopped talking after reaching beyond the path to heaven. But you're undoubtedly a great master who has pioneered a new realm, so I will respect you. Thank you for showing me a new realm. I bow to Kim Young-hoon and slowly head towards a spot on Shattered Heaven Peak. Receiving Seo Yoon-hyun's farewell, Kim Young-hoon watches his fading figure in the distance and sighs softly. Why can't you understand, Yoon-hyun? Maybe it's a matter of perspective. Kim Young-hoon can see it. You're already complete. Beyond just forging a weapon, you're holding it in your hand, ready to swing. So why aren't you swinging it? When he awoke after reaching beyond the path to heaven and saw Seo Yoon-hyun, he was too shocked to speak. The fact that such a thing could be seen in the realm of beyond the path to heaven was truly surprising. But Seo Yoon-hyun's that thing is already complete. even more towering and solid than Kim Young-hoon had imagined, just a swing away from being used. After seeing it, Kim Young-hoon constantly spoke to that thing in Seo Yoon-hyun's subconscious, stimulating and guiding it. He didn't provide teachings through voice or spars. He feared that such instructions would only obscure the enlightenment. But now, Seo Yoon-hyun's death is drawing near. Should I speak to him now, you're complete. Just swing, and it will work. Can he awaken even now if I tell him directly? Kim Young-hoon watches Seo Yoon-hyun practicing cultivation from afar. Suddenly, he sees a reflection of himself in Seo Yoon-hyun's that thing. Enough. Kim Young-hoon decides to trust his intuition. He would continue as he had been, constantly stimulating his subconscious. Let's trust the guy. No, he has no choice but to trust. Anyone who saw that thing would have no choice but to believe. If he really struggles, I'll just show him once. Kim Young-hoon decides to trust his feelings and what he had seen in Seo Yoon-hyun's inner world. You know the feeling of not seeing a sprout grow no matter how much fertilizer you give? Repeatedly giving the soil the fertilizer of failure, yet the sprout of success refuses to emerge. Q-woong, Q-woong, Q-woong. I keep challenging Kai building, stars shatter, the 5 elements adjust, and I fail again. Who? What was once a recovery of 20 breaths has now reduced to 5. Almost perfect. But it feels impossible to reach the end, like trying to find the limit of an irrational number. No matter how much I adjust, it feels impossible to reach the end. What exactly should I do? No matter what I do, the end never seems to be in sight. Q-woong. Once again, the spiritual energy star explodes. Why does it explode every time? Honestly, after mastering the 5 surpassing paths to cultivation and adjusting the ratios to the extreme, shouldn't that have been enough? What more could it possibly want from here? What exactly? Frustration surges within me, and it feels like my blood will burst from my veins. What more do you want from me? Just then it happens. My eyes twitch and look towards the distance. That's. Kim Young-hoon stood up and started performing a sword dance. Yes, it's a sword dance. It's the severing mountain swordsmanship. From the 1st to the 24th move, his sword techniques sweep through the air, and after completing all the moves, Kim Young-hoon sheaths his saber and sits down. That is the end. Was he trying to tell me something? What could he possibly mean? Especially since I'm pondering over cultivation, not martial arts. However, I can't shake off the image of Kim Young-hoon performing severing mountain swordsmanship from my mind. Why did he show me severing mountain swordsmanship? If he wants to enlighten me, wouldn't it be better to show me surpassing radiant saber, the pinnacle of his achievement in Beyond the Path to Heaven, to stimulate my upper dantian? No, a lowly person trying to understand the intentions of a master. Then, there must be some reason he showed me severing mountain swordsmanship. Strangely, Kim Young-hoon's swordsmanship lingers in my mind for a long time. After some contemplation, I realize the reason. Aha! What he performed wasn't just severing mountain swordsmanship. It was my severing mountain swordsmanship. He had mimicked my usual stance, gestures, habits, direction of intent, and pacing of energy, my severing mountain swordsmanship. That's why I'm deeply impressed by seeing my own swordsmanship through Kim Young-hoon. Why did he show me my severing mountain swordsmanship? I think about the problems in my swordsmanship and recall what Kim Young-hoon had shown. There's no problem. Even though I'm a rotten dullard, I'm a master who reached the extreme of ultimate pinnacle. The severing mountain swordsmanship Kim Young-hoon showed, without a joke, had no flaws whatsoever. It was perfect and stable in every flow. Is there some hidden problem that I'm unaware of? That might be the case. Seen through the eyes of a genius like Kim Young-hoon, who reached beyond the path to heaven, he might see more than I can. Let's think carefully. There must be a reason he showed me that. There's none. There's no problem. And then, in the midst of my contemplation, I understand Kim Young-hoon's intentions. He was showing me that there's no problem with me, to encourage me. I'm perfect. I shake my head. That can't be. He's a master far beyond me, an incomparable martial arts prodigy. There's no way my flaws aren't be visible to him. But If Kim Young-hoon, a master much higher than me, sees no problem, then maybe there really is no problem? Perhaps my martial arts are already complete, zing completion. Somehow, with that thought, something seems to resonate in my heart. This feeling is similar to when I heard Kim Young-hoon's explanation that the realms of beyond the path to heaven vary depending on a person's life. Something touches my heart. Zing, something is knocking on my heart. I ponder the nature of this feeling. I remember this tingling sensation. When observing the colors of my disciples intense, when studying with my master and affirming his heart, when I saw Kim Young-hoon reaching beyond the path to heaven, this feeling it's the feeling of life being closely experienced. Ah, indeed. The thing knocking inside my chest is none other than myself. Ah, suddenly, I feel tears streaming down. Why did my heart respond to the words completion and life? Perhaps it's because all my past lives are complete in themselves. Just then, I am finally able to hear a certain voice felt as a tremor in my heart. I look at Kim Young-hoon, who is watching me from afar. He isn't silent. He has been speaking to me all along. Ah, I feel anger. I feel injustice. How can I be so foolish? Having learned the languages of various countries and the language of the demon race, what good is it if I cannot understand the language of the heart? Kim Young-hoon has been unceasingly speaking to me, stimulating my subconscious, telling me I am already complete, that I only need to wield it. But I lack talent. I clench my teeth and with tears flowing. Talent? Kim Young-hoon sat at the very peak of Shattered Heaven Peak, looking at Seo Yoon-hyan on the opposite peak, shedding tears. Smirking slightly, he muses. What does talent matter at this point? Even if I am heavenly sent talent, and you are a talent abandoned by the heavens, it's not about who has or doesn't have talent. It's about those who have found the meaning of life and those who are searching. I found mine. What about yours? You have something I don't. You surely know your life better than anyone. From heart to heart, influenced by the power of beyond the path to heaven, Kim Young-hoon's will is conveyed. Thump, Kim Young-hoon's will reaches me. Hearing his words, I feel a sudden clarity. That is exactly what I had thought when I saw him before. The past Kim Young-hoon's who despaired among the cultivators flash before my eyes, blessed or forsaken by the heavens. We resemble each other as we cry out beneath fate. If we are similar under fate, if we have the will to resist fate, aren't we alike in that too? While listening to Kim Young-hoon's heart, I look into my heart, facing what I have long ignored. Did I unknowingly despair? The ratio of the 5 surpassing paths to cultivation isn't the issue. Such things, once adjusted to a certain extent, can always be resolved. I am more than qualified to challenge the Kai building stage. But I haven't, perhaps fearing that my lack of talent means no matter how much my lifespan extends, nothing will change. Escaping the attraction of fate is not just about strength, but also about will. Perhaps I have been tamed by the attraction of my fate. Thank you, Young-hoon Hyung-nim. Receiving his heart, I shed my hesitation. So it is. When the inner demon visited last time, I drove it away, saying it's fortunate that martial arts are an important part of my life that I cherish. But the frustration I felt wasn't resolved. Only now do I understand the reason. It's not about cherishing them. I have always been cherishing them. It's not about doing my best. I have been living my whole life doing my best. Whether talented or not, I have strived and cherished all my efforts. The accumulated depression throughout my lives burst out, turning into a heart demon, making me worry about talent. Whether a dullard or a genius, that's not what's important. What matters is how much we cherish life and believe in our own. Goo. All the shadows in my heart wash away swiftly. Cleansing all hesitations, I regain my focus and once again challenge the Kai building stage. I have been foolishly standing still under the pretense of adjusting ratios. Ratios, what nonsense. Why should I adjust to the method? The method should adjust to me. 5 spiritual clouds swirl in my dantian. The slightly protruding parts among them, I cut them off without hesitation with my sword gang and expel them from my body. Although my spiritual power decreases, the 5 elements synergize and are forcibly balanced by the cutting of sword gang, fully recovering. The ratio of the 5 elements becomes perfectly equal. At the same time, I feel as if the 5 surpassing paths to cultivation completely merge. A strange sensation. Ku-gu-gu-gu, Q-wung. I challenged Kai building. The completely merged 5-colored spiritual energy forms a spiritual energy star. It shattered soon after, but reforms in less than half a breath. Q-wung, Q-wung, Q-wung. I concentrate day and night, losing track of time, and then I feel a pain in my heart. Again, my lifespan is ending. If only I have a little more time, Kai building is within reach. Take my life if you dare. Looking at the heavens, I declare defiantly. Let's see whether you bring down divine punishment first, or I reach Kai building. The perfectly integrated 5 spiritual energy swirls, creating countless changes within. These changes forcefully subdue the fluctuations in the spiritual energy star. Kai building is within reach. Thump, thump. Beating my heart with Gang Kai, I focus even more. I am no different from dust. But do you know stars are formed from clouds of dust? Dust gathers and forms the cradle of stars, the nebula. The 5 elements of spiritual energy shine, and the star, shattering several times within the cloud, re-emerge. Here I go. Is it due to my intense focus? Before I know it, the starry night has passed and dawn is breaking. Soon after, dark clouds cover the sky. Will the heavenly lightning strike, or will I reach Kai building? A critical situation, roar, roar. Blue streaks flash between the clouds, and the sky brims with the power of lightning. Thump, thump, thump. Heavens above. Thump, thump. I will break free from fate. Flash, the sky turns blue in the next moment. From afar, I can hear Kim Young-hoon's heart reaching out to me, as if he is speaking right in front of me. Yoon Hyun, swing, it's already in your hand. Ah, only at the edge of life and death did I understand his words. Due to his longing and desire to return to his family, Kim Young-hoon created his surpassing radiant saber that transcends space and light. That is the meaning of his life. Then, what's the meaning of mine? I wanted to break free from fate. How many times have I struggled miserably under fate? Like Kim Young-hoon, who flies like a bird in the sky, I wanted to fly beyond and escape fate, seeking freedom. Kim Young-hoon's longing for home melded into his martial arts, achieving a speed that transcends even space. I meld my desire to escape fate into my martial arts, endlessly liberating my techniques in an instant. I find the optimized form of my consciousness, a sword. The sword, longing to escape fate, transcends its form, becoming formless, dispersing into transparent consciousness, Shuak. Suddenly, the gang spheres that leave my body merge with the consciousness, materializing it. Kwarung. A bolt of blue lightning falls towards me, and I precisely locate its falling point with my lightning-predicting eye. Holding the colorless void in front of me, I swing towards the heavens. Beyond the path to heaven, the sword of formlessness cuts through the heavenly lightning and splits the thick clouds beyond. Formless sword! The sky splits vertically, and light of dawn pours through the gap. Ku-gung, KKU-gung, KKU-gu-gu-gung. They say the Danshan is the field of the heart, mind, emotion. From the field of my heart, where I have rid myself of all hesitations and nourished the soil with fertilizers, sprouts start to emerge. It has been a long journey, but finally, I have arrived. Chapter 80. Kai building. The 5 elements form a perfect circle. 5 surpassing paths to cultivation. Surpassing the 5 elements, truly entering the path of cultivation, the 5 spiritual clouds of yellow, black, red, white, and green start to rotate and compress in the Danshan. Ku-gu-gu-gu. Here we go. A spiritual energy star forms. The twists of spiritual energy from the 5 elements' spiritual roots are blocked by the changes of all 5 methods of the 5 surpassing paths to cultivation. Suppress them. The changes of the 5 elements rotating in the Danshan gradually expand their reach. Soon, the transformations of the 5 elements begin to consume the twists of the 5 elements' spiritual roots. My achievements devour the fetters I am born with. Woo-woo-woong. Thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of times. I've challenged Kai building countless times. I've understood all the changes of the 5 elements. Goo-goo-goo-goo. All transformations of the 5 elements ascend to my hand, and the 5-colored star begins to stabilize. At a dazzling orb of light, different from the mere point of spiritual power I've been cultivating, shines within my dantian. The words of Mad Lord come to mind, creating the flow of fate, extending lifespan. Through the unified spiritual meridian, spiritual power circulates and gets absorbed by the spiritual energy star, and the spiritual energy star compresses it into pure spiritual force. The pure spiritual force then circulates through the entire spiritual meridian, making the whole body accustomed to it, since the spiritual energy star itself prevents the pure spiritual force from running rampant. It's safe even if it flows to sensitive areas like the upper dantian or heart. Ku-gu-gu-gu, gang kai or pure spiritual force starts flowing throughout my body. Thump, thump, thump. I no longer need to forcefully compress the heart with gang kai. Gang kai naturally flows through the spiritual meridian, extending my lifespan. Changes occur in the celestial energy. Beyond my fated star, a new position forms, granting me an additional 300 years of lifespan from the heavens. If the path of cultivation is about creating a continuation of fate, like the stars, perhaps cultivation is ultimately a process of becoming like the heavens. I gain a slight insight into the path of immortality. Through it, my ability to read celestial energy has slightly improved since the Kai refining stage. Now, just by looking at the sky, I can get a sense of great fortunes and misfortunes. From now on, the concept of time will change a bit. After reaching core formation, I'll receive another 300 years, totaling 600 years of lifespan. At nascent soul, I'll get an additional 600 years, making it about 1,200 years in total. Starting from now, having received an extra 300 years from the heavens, my lifespan will be significantly longer. Roar, roar. The dark clouds that gathered around shattered heaven peak dissipate and soon vanish. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. I sort through my thoughts and laugh loudly, resonating throughout the entire peak. Finally, after several lifetimes, finally, I have overcome fate. Surpassing fate, overcoming lifespan. Kuraruk, I deeply understand Kim Young-hoon's words that life is joy. Through martial arts, I have redefined myself and gained higher enlightenment. Having overcome fate, I have been granted an additional 300 years. How can I not be grateful? Once again, I confirm my achievement of reaching the Kai building stage, releasing pure spiritual force throughout my body. Currently, I can only produce a slender thread of pure spiritual force, as there is only one source of conversion, the single spiritual energy star. But undoubtedly, it is pure spiritual force, and with Gang Kai flowing in my body, it's like having constant defensive Gang Kai activated. Up to the Kai refining stage, cultivators, though capable of using spells, still feel somewhat human. But from the Kai building stage, one truly begins to transcend humanity. With Gang Kai flowing throughout my body, attacks from martial artists with sword energy or sword silk will not even break my defenses. Even sword gang should have no effect if the concentration of pure spiritual force is increased. Unless it's an attack at the gang sphere level, the defensive Gang Kai flowing normally should be sufficient. Additionally, pure spiritual force is circulating throughout, boosting vitality. Like the one Kai building expert in pill refining from the Mackley clan. Even if several organs are torn out, pure spiritual force will keep them functioning for days, making it unproblematic unless the head, heart, or abdomen is severely injured. Furthermore, covering internal energy with pure spiritual force forms sword gang. In that case, freely pouring the pure spiritual force flowing throughout my body into my inner core should allow me to produce infinite output of Gang Kai. Frankly, any energy flowing through my body can be scooped up in whatever amount I wish and utilized in my inner core without any noticeable impact. As I ascend to Kai building, most importantly, my consciousness has grown even more. Swish. I release my formless sword. Then my consciousness returns to its original spherical domain, enveloping me. Whoosh. Around me, within a radius of about 3 zhang, approximately 9 meters, becomes covered with my consciousness. As I continue to cultivate in Kai building, the domain of my consciousness will only grow larger. If I didn't reach Kai building in this life, the size of my consciousness would remain the same, so my head wouldn't explode right away in the next life. But now that I've reached Kai building and been granted more life, thinking about the current size of my consciousness. However, after pondering and moving my consciousness for a while, I quickly found the answer in the realm of beyond the path to heaven. Swoosh! My consciousness changes into the formless sword, and as I activate my will, it completely splits and begins to swirl around me. This is possible even without internal energy. My skill in handling pure consciousness had greatly increased, having reached the realm of beyond the path to heaven. In the next life, if I wake up and immediately split the formless sword, it seems I'll be able to avoid overload in the upper danshan. I can at least stay relieved for now. For now, I am greatly relieved that I wouldn't be trapped in a cycle of my head constantly exploding. Of course, I don't know what will happen if I continue to cultivate and my consciousness grows, but for now I have extinguished the urgent fire. Swoosh! I revert the formless sword back. I ponder over the cultivation methods I will learn in the future. Now that I've been given 300 years, I should think slowly. Until now, I always felt rushed due to the constraint of a 50-year lifespan. But now that I've been granted 300 years in a single life, I feel incredibly relaxed and peaceful. The stages of Kai building are broadly divided into 4. Many people casually called them early, mid, late, and grand perfection, but there are official names for each stage of Kai building. Unlike Kai refining, where each stage is called star, it is called constellation in Kai building. First constellation: horn, neck, root, room, heart, tail, winnowing basket. Second constellation: ladle, ox, girl, emptiness, rooftop, chamber, wall. Third constellation: legs, bond, stomach, hairy head, net, beak, triple stars. Fourth constellation: well, ghost, willow, star, extended net, wing, chariot. They are called by these names. They corresponds to the 28 stars existing in the astral realm. Kai building cultivators start from the spiritual energy star corresponding to the first constellation and go up to the 28th spiritual energy star corresponding to the fourth constellation. Creating all 28 spiritual energy stars in the danshan signifies reaching the grand perfection of Kai building. The 7 stars ritual performed during the Kai refining phase is of great help in Kai building. The 7 stars ritual involved receiving heaven and earth spiritual blessings by borrowing the names of 7 out of the 28 constellation stars. Depending on the type of constellation chosen at that time, it can either assist in the practice of the first constellation, second constellation, third constellation, or the fourth constellation. I performed the ritual for the 7 stars of the Azure Dragon this time, so I should have an advantage in the practice of the first constellation. Suddenly, I recall an interesting fact. Typically, the vast majority of cultivators perform the 7 stars ritual only twice in their lifetime, unless they choose the wrong time for the ceremony, causing it to fail, or some extraordinary rare phenomenon like heavenly rejection occurs. Originally, the blessings received during the 7 stars ritual are only for 7 stars, and depending on which constellation one chooses, the timing of the help received in Kai building changes. Usually, those with insufficient talent receive blessings from the stars of the first constellation or second constellation, hoping for help in the early to mid stages of Kai building. Those with outstanding talent receive blessings from the stars of the third constellation or the fourth constellation, aiming to quickly pass through the early to mid stages and focus on the later stages. This cursed regression ability might be helpful sometimes. In my case, every time I regress, the state of cultivation is completely reset, and I have to perform the 7 stars ritual again. Then, if I receive blessings from the first constellation in the early stage, refresh my understanding of that stage, and in the next life, skip the first constellation with prior knowledge and receive blessings from the second constellation. Reaching the grand perfection of Kai building by receiving blessings from all 4 constellations doesn't seem like a far-fetched idea, Maybe Kai building might be a bit easier than Kai refining. I am lost in thought regarding Kai building when Yoon Hyunal. Kim Young-hoon approaches me. After nearly 10 years, speaking with his voice. It seems that cultivators from various cultivator clans that have settled in Shattered Heaven Peak are coming this way. Ah, that makes sense. With lightning striking and clouds splitting, it's natural for them to come here. Then Shah. Just as I am about to utter the word Shattered Heaven Peak, crackle, a flash of lightning sparks before my eyes, and the entire surroundings are engulfed in a strange glow. I realize in an instant that I have been transported to some bizarre place. What's this? I am about to go on alert, but then I realize that my physical body has disappeared. I have been sucked into this strange world in the state of consciousness. What's the situation here? As I look around in confusion, whoosh, crackle, crackle. The bizarre space begins to fill with lightning of all colors. Red, blue, gold, white, jade, pink, dark red. And across the world of lightning, a shadowy figure emerges like a dark shadow. I tense up at this incomprehensible situation and watch the figure. The figure has no discernible outline, and its entire body is a dark shadow, almost ghost-like. But it doesn't feel like the aura of a ghost, it's more akin to a bizarre phantom. As I observe the entity, drip, from the face area of the shadow. Blood begins to flow from where I assume the eyes would be. It looks like a resentful spirit shedding bloody tears. I am Yang Soo-jin, the first sect master of Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, the remnant shadow of the fate left behind. You, the next generation's ender. Entering this space means that you've miraculously achieved the conditions I set. Before realizing your fate, entering Shattered Heaven Peak, surviving the heavenly lightning, and uttering Shattered Heaven, all enders who miraculously achieve this near-impossible probability can come here. Yang Soo-jin. I, the founder of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, Yang Soo-jin, have created an attraction of fate within Shattered Heaven Peak that inevitably draws in enders. Therefore, an ender will inevitably come to Shattered Heaven Peak at some point. However, for an ender who is less than a bug before realizing their fate, to be struck by heavenly lightning here and survive against all odds, and to then utter Shattered Heaven, would require an unbelievable miracle. Such an event is impossible, but without a miracle, there will be no escaping Ites notice. Thus, I leave this warning here for future generations, relying solely on the possibility of such a miracle. Crack, sizzle. Around the figure introduced as the remnant of Yang Soo-jin. The lightning that surrounds us starts turning blood red. Future generations, whether you are the next ender, or the one after, or even thousands or millions of generations later, never reveal the fate you have been given. I don't know what gift you may have received, but under no circumstances should you ever speak of it. No matter where you go in the 3,000 worlds, it will know what you have received. Keeping your fate a secret is the only slim chance you have. Crackle, sizzle. The entire area fills with blood-red lightning. More and more blood tears flow from the eyes of the figure introducing himself as Yang Soo-jin's remnant. If you have already revealed your secret, then, future generations, even that slim chance has vanished. Do not even think of returning to your homeland or escaping the curse of fate. Just give up on the thought of cultivation. Live ordinarily among mortals, and die an ordinary death. Forgetting your homeland forever and living and dying that way is the only way to find happiness for an ender who has revealed their own fate. Drip, drip. His shadow starts to bleed, and then begins to dissolve into the blood-red lightning. Everyone living their fate feels averse to revealing it. Especially for an ender, this feeling is much stronger. Yet many take their fate lightly and end up revealing it. I, too, once revealed my fate and ended up like this, so future generations heed my warning. Even if you don't reveal your fate, it will be after you, but if you do reveal your fate, any means of resistance against it will completely disappear. Future generations never take my warning lightly. Never. Crackle, sizzle. Eventually, completely dissolving into the blood-red lightning, he vanishes. Flash, the next moment. It's time to leave. I return to the real world and Kim Young-hoon arrives in front of me. What happened in that strange world occurred in less than a second. Ender, it, caught. What shouldn't be revealed, right, but, are you okay? You don't look well. Oh no, it's nothing. I guess I pushed myself a bit too hard to reach Kai building, but anyway. I look around and click my tongue. It looks like we're surrounded, indeed. Dozens of Kai building cultivators from various clans of Shengzi surround us at Shattered Heaven Peak, each wielding their own magic artifacts and standing on their flying artifacts. Who are you to occupy Shattered Heaven Peak, jointly selected as a sacred ground by the clans of Shengzi? What are you plotting? Speak the truth now. One of the older Kai building cultivators points at us angrily and shouts. I step forward and bow. Greetings, I am a cultivator who has just reached the stage of Kai building. The phenomenon just now was due to a special method I was practicing. In my ignorance, I only thought this land belonged to the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, not knowing it was part of the territory of the Shengzi clan alliance. So please forgive my mistake. I will not set foot in the Great Mountain Range again. With the recent massacre near the Heaven-treading desert and the war predicted to happen in 200 years, the entire continent is in chaos. You lot seem suspicious. And to be a loose Kai building cultivator at this time? No, this won't do, we're taking you in. Could you please forgive us just this once? I really have just broken through to Kai building, and the recent phenomenon was due to a special method I practiced. The leading Kai building cultivator scoffs at my words and begins to channel his magic artifacts' power. He seems not to listen anymore. Surrender quietly? Sigh. I look at Kim Young-hoon. I tried to let this go peacefully, but that's not going to happen. Can't be helped. None of them seem to be at core formation, so let's just warm up. You need to get used to beyond the path to heaven anyway. That's true. As we speak, the cultivator with the magic artifact yells out. What nonsense are you spouting? A first constellation Kai building cultivator and a Kai refining third or fourth star losing their minds. In the next instant, Kim Young-hoon grabs his saber. And the Kai building cultivators around us shudder. If they have performed the 7 stars ritual and have the ability to read celestial energy, they will have felt it. A great misfortune appears right before them. Flash, Kim Young-hoon's consciousness turns golden. Simultaneously, gang spheres rise around him. My consciousness also transforms into the shape of a sword, and 9 gang spheres rise around me. These bastards, using some bizarre and grotesque sorcery. You really think you two can defeat all of us? Clan leader, they're using bizarre methods we've never seen before. Could they be core formation seniors? Nonsense. They do not have a core formation senior's consciousness. Everyone, take out your magic artifacts. The next moment. Kim Young-hoon's golden consciousness merges with his saber, becoming tangible. My colorless consciousness disperses like mist before solidifying. Kim Young-hoon grips the golden saber, and I grasp the formless void. As I ascended to beyond the path to heaven, Kim Young-hoon's intent became much clearer and more vivid. Our intents intersect, beyond the path to heaven, beyond the path to heaven, surpassing radiant saber, formless sword. Back to back, we swing our respective surpassing radiant saber and formless sword at the surrounding Kai building cultivators. Translator notes, Yang Sujin. Ender, fate, gift, it, foreshadowing, mystery, exciting.